And welcome back to Santander Stadium here in downtown York, where the second game of our district championship doubleheader, the AAA championship, which features the Donegal Indians taking on the Spring Grove Rockets. Nice crowd is filled in from both schools here. Certainly, I'm Steve Navaroli alongside John Buffone. And John, Marietta's not that far from here, so certainly Donegal can have a good crowd too.
No, it's really not. It's not as long as some of the drives that could have been taken, so there's a pretty good turnout. A lot of green shirts as well as a lot of blue shirts as well. Should be a pretty dynamic crowd if the first game showed us anything.
And in many ways, this is probably, all but the halfway point between these schools. So I felt they did a great job location-wise for both games. Chambersburg, Hempfield, which congratulations to Hempfield for winning the Quad A championship a little while ago here. And certainly, great location for these two. Beautiful night for baseball, and we're just about ready to go. The umpires are at home plate.
Yeah, and it should be a pretty good game. Both teams had a pretty rough road to get here. Like we said before in the other game, both these teams have to be mentally tough to be at this point because you just usually don't cruise to a district championship. Usually there's some bumps along the way. So we'll see how this one turns out. We looks like we're about time to go over the lineups.
I'm gonna let you do it.
All right. On the Donegal side, batting first will be Ryan Myers, followed by number 13, Cameron Nye. He will be catching today as opposed to pitching. He's one of those few, rare guys that if he's not pitching, he's behind the plate there. So sometimes it's hard for him to tone it down, so you might see some pretty hard throws back to the pitcher every once in a while. Batting third for Donegal is Ethan Hess, followed by Sam Lazowski batting cleanup. We're going with Chris. I'm going to butcher it again. We're going to go with Buden.
Let's say Bowden.
Bowden. Bowden sounds right.
Bowden, I'm not sure.
We're going to go with Chris Bowden for right now. Batting sixth for the Indians is Derek Moore, followed by Derek Hauser batting seventh. Number 47, Adam Kalenda will be in the eighth spot. And finally, Kyle Hess will bat in the ninth position for the Indians. On the mound will be Sam Lazowski for Donegal. For Spring Grove, leading off will be designated hitter Trent Baker, followed by Caleb Ruth, who's wearing number 3 appropriately. On the number 3 spot will be Matt Brooks. Batting cleanup will be Derek Hoyles. I believe he's the catcher as well. Yes. John Sager will be in the 5 spot, followed by Brendan Schukert. Then in the 7th spot, Austin Piety.
That might be Piety.
Piety. And then batting 8th, Anthony Reed. And finally, in the 9th spot will be Cam Sterner for Spring Grove.
And I have your defensive positionings. First for Donegal in left field is Adam Kalenda. Center field, Ethan Hess. Right field, Kyle Hess. Derek Moore at third. Dale Hauser at short. Ryan Myers at second. Chris Bowden, at first. Cameron Nye behind the plate, and Sam Lazowski is on the mound. For Spring Grove around. Sorry, I dropped my paper, folks. It is live stream, if you will.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Left field will be Logan Miller with John Sager patrolling center and Cam Sterner in right. Third base, Caleb Ruth. Shortstop, of course, is Matt Brooks when he's not pitching. He's a terrific shortstop. Brandon Schukart is at second. Austin Piety at first. Anthony Reed on the mound, and Derek Hoyles. Derek Hoyles wearing number 23, go figure, a Spring Grove, catcher named Hoyles wearing 23. His brother Dalton Hoyles was a standout catcher here, now plays for Shippensburg. And of course, their father was Chris Hoyles, former Baltimore Oriole great, who's actually in the Baltimore Hall of Fame as a catcher for his 10 years of service there. I just talked to Chris a little while ago, and of course he's no stranger to this facility. He was the York Revolution's manager for the first, 4.5 years of the team.
A lot of, as we talked about in the first game, a lot of representation for programs sporting great traditions and players that have gone on to play in the higher levels and obviously accomplishing a lot. Those things just don't happen by mistake whenever you see years later the same programs in situations like these.
Now, and what's almost ironic from the first game, where Hempfield, of course, had made that trip to the district final, and Chambersburg's won 11 of them, this is Spring Grove's first trip to the district championship game.
That's got to be something that's been buzzing around the school all week, especially with the players and their families. It's something that it's always great when something is the first of something to happen, and for it to be their first trip to the district finals, that's something.
And how about a team that graduated? At least it was 13, 14, 15, something around there, seniors.
Everyone
has one senior left in starting pitcher Anthony Reed, and yet now they're in the district final. I mean, they started off the season, 2-4, I think. I mean, they were sub 500, and they got on a roll, and that roll continues.
And what a building block, as you said, one senior, which means a whole heck of a lot's coming back next year. What does that do for as a building block for a team that young to be in a district final already? I don't want to springboard already to 2016, but just as a learning experience for these younger guys that they can use later in their high school careers is something pretty special.
No, it certainly doesn't hurt, no question about that. And the lineups have been exchanged behind home plate, and shouldn't be long. We're gonna be playing ball, and if it's as good as the first game, John, we're gonna be entertained.
I tell you what, that first game, for the first 15 minutes, I thought we were gonna have to try to carry a broadcast with a blowout, but the Chambersburg battled back, and they made it a heck of a game. And it took everything for Hemphill to hold on to that early lead and ended up winning the district title. So if that was a precursor for anything, this should be a pretty good one.
And, of course, that was the Black Knights holding on for a 6-5 victory after having a 6-0 lead. Chambersburg scores 5 runs at various points, all with 2 outs, and was threatening the last 2 innings, but just couldn't push the tying run across. So, very, very interesting stuff there. And we're having the pregame introductions going on now, and starting with Donegal and head coach Chris Miller. It was funny. I was looking at the captains who came out with the lineups. This catcher who pitches sometimes, he's got to go at least 6'4".
Oh, Cameron Nye, he is a wiry individual, and I think it's a great advantage for a guy who is always on either side of the plate. He's either behind the plate or he's on the mound, and that helps him not only as a pitcher, but it helps him whenever he's calling pitches because he knows what works. He understands where the umpire is calling him. He gets where the strike zone's at. He just has a good feel because every day he's taking pitches or he's throwing pitches. So if that's what you do every day, you're bound to become pretty good at it. And not to mention the kid has a cannon that he can throw, that he can show off whenever he's behind the plate. And you'll even see today, usually because he just pitched in the previous game, sometimes it's hard for him to bring it down a little bit. So whenever you're seeing the throws back to the mound, sometimes they have a little more zip on them.
Of course, it's kind of funny now as Donegal's lining up along the first baseline. You mentioned Nye, and he's standing next to leadoff hitter Ryan Myers, who's a bit on the diminutive side.
Yeah, he's
quite a difference.
he is a typical leadoff guy, very, very quick, compact, gets out of the box quick, and like you said, quite the contrast when you have Nye and Myers there.
I'm sure, looking at me, John, you would guess when I played baseball. Do you want to guess where I hit in the lineup?
Well, I'm going to try to be as gracious as possible here. I would say you're in the number 2 spot.
No, I was a leadoff
You're
hitter.
a leadoff
so,
guy.
Yes,
all right.
As the small of stature, if you will. You got to remember, I was a lot thinner back then. I could run.
I believe it. You got to get out of the box quick and make contact. Rare strikeouts.
So that was definitely my job, if you would. But
I was the complete opposite. I was in the 6th spot, and it was either boom or bust. The speed was still there, but it was either strikeout or a double most of the time.
Spring Grove being announced now to a great crowd, and it's going to be an interesting challenge because it'd be real easy to get wide eyes for both these teams. We talked a little bit about it, in the first game, and certainly I think it helped Henfield, the fact that they were in a district title game in a big stadium last year. But, for the Rockets and for the Indians in this case, I mean, it's a different look. I mean, you got a big, it's a minor league ballpark. It's got a 38-foot wall to left field, but the looks deep, a lot of room in foul territory, certainly things they don't see.
This is a lot more open area than what they're used to playing on, and it's and I talked briefly about it in the first game. There's a lot deeper whenever you're in the outfield, there's a much different depth perception because usually you see a backstop and that's it. Now there's all this stuff behind you and in front of you, and it's hard sometimes to get your bearing if you don't get that down in warm up. So if you're going to see some interesting errors, you might see them in the first couple innings.
Yeah, one thing we saw in the opener, though, we talked about the power alleys and the extra room there, but the outfielders, I thought, really defended terrifically in that first game.
We didn't see any bad errors in the outfield in the first game, so the testament to the kids for preparing themselves to what they need to do.
We did see the one play, which really wasn't a misplay. The boy just dove to try to catch the ball, and it went by him, but that was the only, possible miscue, if you would, and that wasn't a miscue. So we're getting ready to have the national anthem here momentarily, so stay with us.
Tonight's national anthem will be sung by Phoebe Latimer, a junior from Dallastown High School. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise, and gentlemen, remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem.
And there you go, what I say about earlier, the Dallastown Singers.
Yeah. Speaking of programs with sustained success, you could probably say the same about Dallastown Singers.
Once again, they get a lot of practice. And at the volleyball championships last week, the district volleyball championships at Dallastown, I actually recorded the singer on my phone because she was so good.
That happens from time to time when you hear a rendition that it just hits you a different way.
Yeah, no question about that. So, lefty Anthony Reed taking his warm-up tosses as we're about ready to get underway.
Donegal baseball team's going to try to keep stride with their softball team that just claimed the District 3 championship earlier today.
Donegal's a school that had to transition. For so many years in their history, they were this small little AA school. But then the housing building around in that, they're probably maybe on the small side for AAA, but they're a legit number now.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, it took a little bit of time to build up to where they're at, but now that they are, they're holding their own.
Yeah, and to be able to do that, a lot of times, teams might might struggle moving up that classification, but I think Donegal on both sides of the equation, both male and female, really have handled that terrifically. And Spring Grove sometimes faces that because in some sports they're AAA, but others, they might be a quad A, or they're typically in the biggest bracket out there in a lot of sports. track, swimming, and things like that. So they're kind of on that bubble a little bit as well.
Now batting for Donegal, number 2, Ryan Myers.
Ryan Myers stepping in. Anthony Reed ready to pitch. And the District 3 Class AAA championship game gets underway with a ball outside on the first pitch.
One thing this crowd will learn quickly is that Donegal has a very, very vocal bench. They keep it up throughout the entire game.
And Reed kind of hits a little flare out to right field for a base hit.
That's what those leadoff hitters do. Another one for Ryan Myers there.
It looked like a little bit of what I thought was a jam job. He did a great job getting the barrel out to get what he could and punched it into right.
I saw the same thing. It looked like it was inside on him, kind of hit it with the handle, and he just poked it out to right.
And now comes the not-so-diminutive Cameron Nye to the plate. And, here's where maybe, the advantage of a lefty pitcher, is that keep Myers close. Because Myers is a runner. You can tell. And Nye bunts foul on the first effort and even on that pitch.
I was just going to say, even on the delivery there, he was going to the plate, and it made Myers go back to first a little bit. He was a little weary that he was going to try a pickoff move.
As a base stealer about 100 years ago, I hated when lefties were on the mound.
It just makes things so much more, I don't want to say confusing, but it makes you more tentative out there because you never know when they're going to try to pick you off, and that's the worst feeling in the world, to walk back to the dugout after getting picked off, especially as a leadoff guy with no outs.
Yep. And, nice play at first base by Austin Peavy, who dove and knocked the ball down, stepped on the bag to get one out. Myers moves up to second, but a terrific play, because if that gets down the line, that's a run.
Oh, absolutely, and he also had the luxury of having to hold the runner on at first before the pitch, so he was in a pretty good position to make that play. Still, great athleticism to get down and knock it down and then get the out.
And you know what? That's a good feel for the first time you're touching a ball, too.
Oh, yeah. Regardless, Donegal gets a runner, hits our leadoff runner in scoring position now with Ethan Hess up.
Again, as I said, Spring Grove with one senior in its lineup, and that would be pitcher Anthony Reed. So, nice curveball. Boy, how much did that thing break?
Yeah, that Hess looked at it all the way in. He could tell when it went across. He was like, man.
It's all right. Don't bother swinging. You're not going to hit it.
Yeah.
Another one. This one started off at the middle part of the plate, and it broke on the inside, so that was a ball. Counts even at 1-1.
Another breaking ball.
Another breaking ball. That's, John, you add how much break gets added by the fact that it comes out of a lefty.
It just throws a hole that you're reading it different than what you're used to, and it just seems to make movement that you're just not accustomed to. And by the time you swing, you feel foolish most of the time.
And the 1-2 offering from Reed on the way. Bounced up there, gets away from Hoyles, who holds the ball as Myers alertly takes third.
Well, now you're in a position, if you're Hess, just make contact, get the ball to the outfield, and you can get a sacrifice fly and get a run out of this. Last thing you want to do is strike out here.
Yeah. Hoyles did a good job knocking down the
did.
55-footer, but just rolled just beyond the step. And what do you know, Reed comes in with a fastball and struck him out swinging. Really good pitch, location, outer part, low.
The way that he spotted that, it was a little unfair to Hess at that point.
Sam and the Indian starting pitcher Sam Lazowski takes his spot in the left-handed batter's box, and he's not a short young man either.
No, they got some range here in the Donegal lineup.
Lefty versus lefty here. Lazowski, the cleanup hitter, and first pitch is ball outside.
An interesting dynamic of this is with a runner on third, with all these breaking balls coming in, you gotta make sure Hoyles has got to make sure you knock everything down, because anything that gets past you here is a run.
Oh, frame job there by the
Very nice frame job.
by the son of a former major league catcher. He held that thing up there for the ump to see. He got the outside corner, sort of. So it's a ball in the strike. Oh, there was that breaking.
Beautiful breaking ball.
I'm glad I'm sitting up here next to you.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. That'll freeze you up, and before you even paying attention, it's just a strike called.
Got a hunch you got another one coming here. Hoyle sets up further out. It was a breaking ball, grounded to second. Nice play by Schuchard, who throws, but not in time.
Oh, he's called safe.
Close play. Nice scoop at first base by Austin Piety, but Donegal gets a run on the infield single off the bat of Sam Lazowski, helping out his own cause. And we have Tyler Snyder coming in as a courtesy runner for Lazowski, who did hustle that one down the line. Really, really close play in the first inning.
Wow, and I mean, you could see that going either way, but in the grand scheme of things, that's huge because Donegal gets a run across the plate because of it. Another big fella up to bat for Donegal there. I believe it's their catcher, Chris Bowden.
And Bowden fouls one down the right field line, and that one is on the Santander Stadium roof.
Just nothing you can do about it, Steve, honestly.
Curveball swung on and missed. It's an 0-2 count now on Bowden.
You have to be so patient when that, and most of the time it sweeps in at the last second, and it's hitting a curveball is so hard.
Runner goes, pitches outside, and Hoyles didn't even get a throw out. It was that was kind of a slow change up, and I don't think he really had much of a chance.
That was going through the mechanics of the thing that they were kind of conceding that a little bit.
So courtesy runner Snyder stands at second here with 2 outs in the first. 1 run across already for Donegal. Fastball fouled back to the screen.
Think we'll see a changeup. You think we'll see a breaking ball here, Steve?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes. I think the bender's coming. No, fastball in.
Ooh.
So, and that was definitely in. I mean, the Spring Grove faithful felt that he had him rung up, but our view of it was really
given their
good.
angle, I could see where they'd be bummed a little bit, but if you're over top of it, you see that was inside.
That was low.
A little low.
So now we got a full count here.
Got him
I think that was a fastball, outer portion of the plate, struck him out to end the top of the first.
See, when you get so afraid of the curveball, you kind of abandon thinking about the fastball, because then you start thinking, I got to get this timing down, I got to stay in strong, I got to wait on the curveball and swing away. All of a sudden, you come with a fastball, and you're not. By the time you're done thinking, the ball's already into the mitt.
Outer part of the plate low too. It was going to be tough to get. So, so Donegal gets a run in the first. And the score is the Indians 1, Spring Grove coming up.
In comes the Donegal softball team.
Yep.
fresh off of their district championship win to an ovation from the Donegal crowd.
With gold medals hanging around their
Yep,
neck.
good for them.
Yep, hug for the coach. You know, I mean, when you see moments like that, that is what high school sports is all about.
You're absolutely right. It's a sense of community. It's the fact that the fans, they recognize them, they were proud of them, and the softball team came out here to cheer on the baseball team to make sure that they were getting the same kind of support. So that's you're absolutely right. That's what high school sports are all about.
And they're taking their seats right behind the dugout. How perfect is that? It looks like a lot of them have pizza. Yeah. That's a good thing, too.
And you know what? That makes me even more envious because they're sitting there with pizza with a gold medal around their neck. I can't really think of a better evening. You got a fresh gold medal around your neck and you got a fresh piece of pizza in front of you. To be a teenager again.
Oh, how about? And then Eileen behind us doing a great job getting that shot on camera of the of the Donegal girls coming into play. That is so awesome, and it's one of the reasons I love covering high school sports.
Absolutely, it's just as much about the community aspect to it and the feel good aspect to it, and sometimes it's not as mechanical as you see in the upper ranks of sports.
No, and it's not as glamorous. I speak at a lot of schools and that. Hey, did you meet Michael Jordan? Did you do this? Do that? Nope. I cover high school sports, but I'm fine with that.
Absolutely. Sometimes you see the best shows of emotion in the high school ranks.
No question about it. Designated hitter Trent Baker leading off for Spring Grove. First pitch called strike, and he just took a ball down low. The Rockets trying to get that run back here. A strike on the outer part of the plate.
Something you're going to see out of Lazowski here. He's also somewhat of a breaking ball artist, but if you watch that delivery, it kind of comes over the top a little bit, and it kind of gives you a different look at the way that pitch is coming in. And sometimes it takes a team a trip through to really pick up on it a little bit.
Well, and the fact that he's 6'3" with long legs,
yeah.
I mean, that's got to add to that, too. Yep, right over the top, and there it was right there. Strikeout, fastball caught the outside corner. So there's one down for the Rockets as Caleb Ruth steps up. First pitch breaking ball for a called strike.
So far, and I realize it's only the first inning, we're seeing nice placement from both pitchers.
I mean, you really couldn't fault, that run in the first.
That's not really Reed's fault, It's a guy beats out an infield
exactly.
hit.
I mean, you had it was kind of a manufactured run a little bit. A soft base hit, stolen base,
advanced on a.
So Billy Bean would be proud.
Yeah.
There's
Straight
a
up.
Foul pop up, catcher and first base communicated. Really, Cameron Nye took control of that right from the start, and that. Honestly, John, that's not his play.
No, because the infield usually has a better angle on the ball. And when you're a catcher, sometimes the ball's spinning back towards you, and you have to make some kind of a behind the head kind of a catch there because you misjudge it. But he wanted that from the start.
He was telling Mr. Bowden, just stay out of my way, please.
I'll handle this.
Yes, exactly. So we got 2 outs in the first, and Matt Brooks steps up. Brooks, of course, Mr. Everything, and the only returning starter in the Rockets lineup.
It's crazy.
And he saw time. He's a junior. He saw time as a freshman. Started all season as a sophomore, and has been an all-star in the league since. He's really a terrific ball player. And he lines a base hit up the middle. No, it stayed up, and a nice catch in center by Ethan Hess. I thought that was down off the bat.
The way that it looked, it seemed like it stayed about 3 feet off the ground for about 50 yards there, and it just kept grooving. And sometimes you wish he hadn't hit it as hard, because if he doesn't, that's going to drop about 5 feet in front of the center fielder. But he roped it, but it stayed up long enough for the center fielder to make a play.
No question about that. And after one, Donegal leads Spring Grove 1-0 in the District 3 Class AAA championship game.
If I had to guess, though, Steve, I'm going to say that one run might not be enough to clinch this so far. So,
no, you would
far from
certainly
over.
think not. And, I wanted to ask you this. I mean, as loud as the Donegal boys are, how loud is it going to get when the girls are done with their pizza?
I tell you what, right now they're a little subdued. You get that.
They're hungry.
You
earned it.
You get that pizza hangover after a little bit, but after that they're still hanging on to this 1-run lead, and this game gets closer and closer. You're gonna hear a lot more noise over there. As you hear the Donegal softball team being recognized by the PA here.
And many of the Spring Grove faithful clapping along.
Yeah, and that's good to see. All these teams involved today still will have baseball to be played regardless of the outcomes of these games.
Yep, the only difference is how far you have to travel.
That's right.
So then Derek Moore leads off for Donegal and shows bunt and chops one. Oh, Reed did a nice job waiting for that bounce to get to him. He saw the big bounce coming. And for a lefty, you're falling off the mound differently. He jumped right on it, waited, got it, set himself throw. He got him easily.
Yeah, he had to go across his body a little bit, but the patience there, that he didn't rush it, didn't try to get it before it took that hop, because if so, that's a great way to mishandle the ball. So he did a good job of recognizing how the ball was going to come off the turf and got it.
Dale Hauser steps up for Donegal, and he takes the ball outside. Hauser, it's a line drive that gets knocked down at second base, but there was no play on it. So Hauser is an infield hit. Pair of infield hits for Donegal. Hauser finds himself on first with one out.
Donegal has 3 hits, but none of them have really been roped out to the outfield. All of them have kind of been seeing eye. 2 of them are infield hits, and the other one was kind of a seeing eye single to right field by Myers as the first batter of the game.
Brings up left fielder Adam Kalenda. He hits one sharply to second, and he's thrown out from the hole. Nice play by Brandon Schukart there. Really his only play to go to first there.
And if you're Donegal and if you had to get an out there, you're glad that's what it was. You're glad he didn't actually hit it harder, because that would have gave him time to try to twist the double play there. It kind of just rolled out to the second baseman. By that time, the runner was already going to make it safely to second, so you have to take your out at first. And now you still have a guy in scoring position.
Kyle Hess steps up, lefty versus lefty on this one. Yeah, pitch outside for a ball, and again, that one, boy, you could just see where that break was.
Yeah, as the game goes on, they'll be able to get on it a little easier maybe, but man, is that hard to judge.
Tell you what, another 15 minutes when dusk really settles and the lights don't help at all. That's going to be.
Yep, that's even harder to pick up. That's a good point, because as you said, it's a little harder to pick it up when the lights are shining and it's dark out.
He goes 3-0 now to the number 9 batter, and with the dangerous Ryan Myers up, I don't think this is a situation you want to be in early.
No, they want to try to get him right here without having runners on the bases with their top of the order coming up.
And
Beautiful
he fires
pitch.
a strike. 3-1. That was kind of the automatic. Let's throw it down the middle. He's not going to
Yep.
swing anyways. And, listen, I'm a traditionalist. I don't believe in swinging 3-0.
Yeah, I don't either. But I always
Not
give
at this level,
yeah, and
anyhow.
I definitely always give the pitcher credit for being able to when you get out to a 3-0 count, being able to groove one in there. But next pitch, ball 4.
Yep, that pitch a little bit low. So you got runners at first and second. Now with 2 outs for Donegal and leadoff hitter Ryan Myers up.
Led off the game with a single to right field. 2 guys on now. Donegal can make a little hay here.
And it's a line drive to right field, but that one also held up. That was one of those again. He hit that a lot harder than his first hit.
And even you saw the outfielder kind of looked at it like it was gonna get past him, and then it just kind of hung up in the air there. And
again, this is a tough time of day. The ball's a little bit tougher to see, so you're not sure of the carry. Obviously once it's darker and the lights take effect, then that gets easier. But there's going to be about a 15-minute window that the ball is not easy to pick up.
Where the sun's still kind of up, the lights aren't shining through. It's plenty of shadows everywhere right now, and it'll be hard to pick up. Still heading into the second, or heading into the bottom of the second. Donegal clinging to a 1-0 lead. Can't really say that anyone really has the real edge because, like we said, Donegal's run was, textbook old-fashioned manufacturing run baseball there. Both pitchers showing some gusto so far. Donegal probably with some more scoring opportunities, but credit Spring Grove defense for holding tough.
Yeah, I wanted to look up the numbers here on Mr. Lazowski. A 7-2 record on the year, 11 appearances, a 1.58 ERA. So obviously, he's a pretty tough customer out there.
Yeah, and he so far in this game he's had control over where he's trying to put the ball, and he knows when to. And credit that to their catcher Cameron Nye, knowing when to heat up the fastball, when to throw that breaking ball, mixing up, keeping batters off balance, working each sides of the plate there.
So speaking of rather big fellas, here is the Derek Hoyles, as we said earlier, son of former Major League catcher Chris Hoyles, and Derek gets his father's side. His older brother Dalton is tall but very lanky. Derek's a big guy. He's only a sophomore, so he's a pretty big boy. And of course, I remember. Seeing Derek run around the field, when he was like 4 years old, and Chris was, in pregame of Revs games, Derek and Dalt would be running around, and it's just funny seeing them play as young men now at this point.
The evolution of time.
Yeah. Oh, dribbler. They're not going to have a play, even on the not speedy-footed catcher, but there was just no play to be had there. Good effort by Moore at third, but a little swinging bunt.
Yeah, I was going to say that was almost like a perfectly placed bunt, but only he wasn't really trying to do that.
So, and it looks to me like the Rockets are eschewing the courtesy runner. Interesting. So I think Hoyles runs better than we think as you look at his size, considering he's a catcher, but they are not going with the courtesy runner.
Well,
they don't have a big roster, though, either.
No, but and you're right. Sometimes, I don't want to use the term, it's overused all the time, deceptive fast kind of thing, but if you're a catcher, you gotta have good movement, laterally, and maybe he gets a good jump out.
And the experience factor. I mean, he played a lot as a freshman last year. Mostly as designated hitter, played a little third base, but, because his brother's behind the plate. But, he's certainly spent a lot of time on the base pass. So, he can get a better read in a big game.
At this point in the season, sometimes you want smart base running as opposed to just, fire around the bases.
So John Sager up. Now, Sager's delivered a bunch of big hits for the Rockets down the stretch. Lefty comes in, and I know he had a game winner a couple weeks ago. It's a chopper up the middle. It's the wrong place to hit it. The shortstop. Maybe Hoyles could have slid there.
Yeah, I think Hoyles might have misinterpreted it. They were just going to try to go to first base there.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it looked like he might have let up just a little bit before he got to the bag. And that throw beat him by about maybe a half second there. Maybe he slides, he gets in there. But
he
either
knows
way,
it now. You can see he just smacked his hands. And, I saw him going by Kevin Stifler there, who's coaching third. Probably let him know that a little bit. But Brandon Schugart steps up. And then takes one inside. The ball squeezes away from the catcher who cannot make the throw. So John Sager advances to second base. Tough one. It was a tough pitch to handle, but he did have it. And then it scored it out. I would probably score it a pass ball, but that's a tough score either way.
That was kind of a gray area there because it looks like he had it, and then all of a sudden he didn't.
Of course, when he went to get up and throw, he then slipped on the grass here. So the Rockets have their first runner in scoring position, and it's a 2-0 count here on Schugart with Austin Petey up on deck.
Now, you hate to play the shoulda, coulda, woulda game, but if Hoyles is not thrown out at second, there's that pass ball, all of a sudden you might have runners on second and third with one out here.
And strike called in the inside corner, although the way the ball squirted out was to the third base side.
He may not have gone.
He would have had trouble getting
Yeah,
third.
You're right. That would have been a at least a much easier opportunity for them to get an out.
There's a shot down the third base line and fair. And we're going to have a tie ball game here as Brandon Schugart drives in John Sager, and it's 1-1. Boy, that ball was grounded, but it was hit sharply.
That was a very hard hit ball right inside the bag there. Squirts through. Easy score there for Spring Grove. The left fielder did bobble it a little bit, but I don't think that would have made any kind of a difference. They were going to score there.
More laid out. He did all he could there at third base, but
you can't really hit it better than that. That was right inside the line.
I have to be honest. I was trying to hear the Spring Grove fans or the students were chanting Austin's last name. And I have to be honest, I was trying to hear it in case I was mispronouncing it, but I couldn't quite make it out. So Piety, Piety, I'm not sure. Of course, Petey, and of course, I'm going Piety because of my ancestry. Well, and yours,
and
for
mine.
that matter,
Yep.
So
anything you can add an I to anything.
That's a strike one count after a foul ball. And Austin, I'm just going to call him Austin and be done with it. He steps out with Brandon Schugart on first.
Swing and a miss.
Curveball. Swung on and missed. And the 0-2 pitch. That's grounded hard to shortstop. Flip to one and on to first. Nicely dug out by Chris Bowden at first base. We have a 6-4-3 double play to end the second
Great
inning.
scoop by Bowden there.
It was a good turn, and he had to make it quick. So, he didn't get as much on the throw as he normally would, but Bowden bailed him out there. And after two, we're tied at 1. And, John, I think this is what we're going to see all game.
It could be. And like I said in the previous inning, that ball, sometimes when it's hit hard like that, that's the worst thing that can happen because it gives them time to turn the double play. That ball's hit a little softer, maybe it doesn't happen, but that's just the way it goes. And now we're all squared up 1-1 going into the top of the third.
Yeah, it was after he was, while he was batting, I heard them yelling pie, pie. You know, I think we'll just maybe stay with that because we're journalists, and anytime we hear food, that's usually what we go with.
We're all right. We're gonna call him pie.
Yeah.
Let's see what Donegal can do now. They got their 2, 3, 4 batter upcoming with Nye, Hess, and then Lazowski. Had some success the last time through here.
Yeah. You know, it's funny as I'm looking around the Spring Grove team, and I saw them a couple times last season, and to think, I mean, it's all new players, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm watching over at first base, and, you know, I mean, Will Mifflin played first for them for 3 years. He was a great hitter, big lefty. I mean, hit the ball hard. Legion All-Star. I watched him, you know, playing the Legion All-Star game, and you know, it's just funny, just not, you know, there's such a different lineup, and yet here they are fighting for district title.
Complete line change, and haven't missed a beat.
So catcher Cameron Nye leading off for Donegal. Nips a little humpbacker to short, long throw, dug out, and I think a throw might have pulled Piety off the bag, but I don't think it mattered. I think Nye had that beat out.
Yeah, that's got to be a hit. A great judgment by the shortstop there to back up and play the hop. Got a lot on the throw, little off target. I still think Nye would have beat out the throw.
That is the all-star shortstop from Division I over here in the York Adams League, who you know, again, played as a freshman. So he's pretty legit out there.
He knows how to handle it.
So number 3 hole hitter Ethan Hess up to bat. And courtesy runner took first. And Hess fouls one back onto the roof. You better watch that one doesn't roll back. I'm not sure how far back it went. Hess comes in a 300 hitter and 70 at-bats, 21 runs scored, 21 hits. Now, one thing you don't see as I'm looking at the Donegal stats, 1 home run. That was by Nye.
Yeah, they're not a power team. They're basically what you saw in the first inning. They manufacture runs. They find a way to get base runners, and they find a way to get them across the plate. They're not gonna score 2, 3 runs in one swing.
Oh, that one gets by Hoyles. It bounced right in front of the plate, so that's going to go as a wild pitch. And you know, Cameron Nye, or the courtesy runner for Nye, is on second.
They win a lot of their games in small ball by advancing runners, by taking advantage of wild pitches like that. Now with a runner in scoring position with no outs, this is how they like to play.
138 runs in 24 games. That'll tell you they're efficient. And Hess is rung up on the inside corner fastball. I think that fastball fooled him. I don't think he was expecting it.
He was expecting a curveball. It looked like that the whole way through. That ball came up on him a lot quicker than he thought. And you get frozen sometimes when you see that.
And here's Lazowski, 288 on the season, also 21 hits, 15 RBIs. So this is definitely an RBI spot here.
He brought in Donegal's first run with that infield single.
And he swung on. That looked more like a changeup. I didn't see a lot of break, but he definitely took something off of it.
And Lazowski was way in front of that pitch.
He disguised the speed really well. He waited on the breaking ball, and he just hit it into the left center. And that's going to bring home Donegal's second run of the game. Courtesy runner Edwards scores on the second RBI of the game for Lazowski. So,
having a heck of a game, helping out his own cause, obviously.
Absolutely. As both RBIs, Snyder takes over at first, a courtesy run. Well, we got a 2-1 ball game with 1 out. So Bowden up, and he fouls the second pitch back onto the roof. It's 1-1. John, one of the things, and this is the only season of the three that you've got to really be concerned with it, but focus with seniors. They got graduation, there's proms, there's so much going on at this time of year for a high school senior, even a high school junior. To focus athletically is quite a challenge.
Oh, absolutely. And you look at the volleyball and lacrosse, their state championship is June 6th. That's the day after graduation for a lot of the schools.
Yeah.
And that means you'd be playing a state championship game after you've already graduated high school. That's a lot to bring in, because you do have lives outside of this kind of a thing where you have to factor in your future plans, whether you're entering the workforce or whether you're going to college, or if you're playing a sport in another school, you got to report to that school, and you're playing in the fall, you're playing a fall sport. So there's a lot to take in mentally as well as physically, because it is a long season. There's a lot to exert. So spring's very unique in that aspect.
Bowden fouls one down the right field line, or down the first base line. It's 2-2 on him with a runner on first. Yeah, it was fun. I was talking to Kennerdale lacrosse star Lindsay Duty last night at her final high school game, and just asked her about it. Are you surprised it's over type thing? She said, yeah, but I already got my summer workouts and it's kicking my butt. She's going to be playing for Old Dominion, in the fall, and they sent her the workout list, and swung on and missed for strike 3, throw down to second, and Snyder slides in safely, stolen base. That was one of those. The breaking pitch was a slow curveball.
Oh yeah,
he took a lot off. He took a lot off his normal curve to get the strikeout, but Hoyles had no chance to make the throw.
By the time Bowden decided he was going to swing, he had to basically golf swing at it, and it was he had no chance whatsoever.
Brings up Derek Moore now with 2 outs and a runner on second, as the Indians are going to try to push their third run across here.
Moore grounded out in his first at bat.
Ball low and inside. It was just funny, talking to Duty. She's, again, Old Dominion. Of course, teammate Morgan Day set the national goal scoring record for career-wise, and there's a one-hopper out to Brooks, who just fires. He can throw.
Oh, the cannon from that side of the field.
So the top of the third ends on a 6-3. Donegal adds a run and leads Spring Grove 2-1. As my point about talking to Morgan Day, who's going to be playing at Division I St. Francis, and said, it just it's like becomes a blink of an eye. And, when you deal with that, and then you're trying to get ready for particularly those two, trying to get ready for Division I, getting ready to graduate. There's just so much on an athlete's plate. This time of year.
You don't have a lot of time to sit back and reflect on it, because it's one thing after another, bang, 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 and it's you're done with your high school career. But especially if you're continuing to play in college, you have about maybe no time before you have to start gearing up towards that. So there's a lot of I can see how it'd be easy to get overwhelmed in that kind of a situation, because there's just very little or no time to rest whatsoever. Meanwhile, half your friends, haven't been. They checked out during their senior year about 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
They're just hanging out. Maybe they're going to college or what have you, but they're not going to be playing sports. So they just hanging out and enjoying your senior year. Going to social gatherings. Meanwhile, you're getting up for 8 a.m. practices, and you have summer workouts for your college team that you're going to, and it's a different lifestyle. You have to love it.
I might say I was guilty of that myself. So, and here's number 8 hitter for Spring Grove, Anthony Reed, the pitcher, is now up trying to help his cause. And interesting dynamic I just noticed. Reed, a lefty pitcher, hits right-handed.
Yeah.
Donegal's pitcher, Lazowski, throws right-handed and hits left.
That's left, yeah. It's perfect symmetry, if you ask me.
Yes. Well, the one good thing about it is actually it's a bad thing. Both of them have their throwing arm exposed.
Exactly.
And Reed lines one to right, and that falls for a base hit. So Anthony Reed with a leadoff single, and they will courtesy run for Reed, it looks like.
Number 9 spot, Cam Sterner.
Yep, got Cam Sterner coming in, or coming up to bat here. Possible bunt situation with your 9-hitter, although Sterner's had some key hits this year. Connor Reed, I'm going to assume that might be his brother, so I'm thinking one Reed running for another here at first. Comes
the bunt.
And ball up high, and boy, Reed got way off the base, but nobody back covering.
No one covering first.
It's funny because the second baseman, Ryan Myers, tried to sneak in there, but the catcher couldn't see him,
And you saw before this play, the catcher, Cameron Nye, was calling out signals in case, they did try to steal what was going to happen, or if the bunt was called. So
Reed was in trouble there.
Oh, yeah.
And he pops that bunt up. Oh.
They could have maybe had a chance there to double him up.
Had a chance, and because now, but there again. I mean, is that a case? Is poor Ryan Myers that size? People aren't finding him out there.
It's hard. I mean, you got about a split second to find your target, and before you have to release, and I don't know. Small target, green on green.
Yeah, exactly. So green seats.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of meshing going on.
But nonetheless, we have one out now after the failed bunt attempt, and leadoff hitter Trent Baker steps up.
Baker led off the game with a backward K.
Takes first one high for a ball. And paints the outside and fastball. Count the evens at 1. And how about that? Go the other way and base hit to left field. Reed will have to hold there at second as the play was right in front of him. But that was a pretty nice piece of hitting there. He got the ball on the outside of the plate and just pushed it to left.
Huge gap in between shortstop and the third base. Very, very good placement.
Now you got the 2 and 3 spots coming up with one out, runner in scoring position. Ruth and Brooks. Caleb Ruth up now, Matt Brooks on deck. If you're the Rockets, that's the situation you want.
This is, you want your 2 most reliable hitters up in this situation. You're down by 1, you have 2 on. Tying run is in scoring position. Good opportunity here for the Rockets.
Zowski's first offering, curveball outside. Oh, he rips that one up the middle. It falls for a base hit to center field, 1 hop. That ball was hit too strong. They had to hold Reed at third. Great throw from center fielder Ethan Hess.
On the money throw from the center fielder. In all honesty, they would have got the runner out at home.
No question. And you got Matt Brooks. You got your top. You got your top hitter. You got your all-star coming up
with bases
loaded.
Out.
You want that runner at third. Making the second out at home doesn't do you any good with this kind of a hitter coming up.
Absolutely, and you're hoping that the worst case scenario is a sacrifice fly to the outfield that gets you a run in from third. So that is good for Coach Stifler to hold him up at third. But an absolute rope from Hess from center
field.
What
a throw by Hess. Called strike on the inside corner to Brooks. Just look at this. I mean, do you look at this kid and say ball player, though, when you see Brooks up there?
Looks at receiving.
Yeah.
Good job by neither to knock that down. That gets past him. This is a tie ball game. But, you look at this kid, ball player.
Yeah. And ball 2 outside. Now it's 2-1. And, he might be somebody I would see walking, on the street, and I'd say, that dude's a ball player.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can just tell.
And fastball right down the middle. So Brooks must have been looking for something else.
He was
surprised he took that pitch.
I don't know if he was anticipating a breaking ball. That was right down Broad Street.
Yeah, now he's got a 2-2 count. There's a grounder, diving play at third. Nice play. They get the force. No play at first. We have a tie game as Reed scores on the fielder's choice, but a really nice play by Derek Moore. That saves the run.
It really did. He had to bring that in, and that could have been disaster anywhere else.
There's no question to me that Baker scores on that if
Yeah,
that ball gets through.
Yeah, it gets through, he scores, and to not even bring it in, but to make the throw 2 seconds, because it would have been very easy to airmail it. Now Chris Miller's out, the
wonder if
coach
he's
for
asking
Donegal.
about some kind of an interference call there at second. I think what he was looking at was the slide pattern.
And he didn't look very happy talking to the umpire there.
I think he must have felt that Ruth took his slide inside, and now we're going to have a conference of the umpires, and of course, the Donegal coach being chased off the field by the home plate umpire, but. And to the delight of the Rockets fans, nothing will be done.
I'm interested to see what he was talking to the umpires about, other than what you said was the slide pattern.
I'm pretty sure he was looking at Ruth's slide and how much
he was going after.
He was going after,
Baseball's baseball,
Exactly. And you could tell the throw kind of popped up in the air.
Yeah.
So he definitely struggled on the throw. But that brings up Derek Hoyles with runners on first and third.
Had an infield hit in his first at bat.
6 hits for Spring Grove. And now it's ball and a strike, and it's like we see some of these suburban York Legion players have arrived. I see they recognize their hats.
It's a hot ticket to get tonight.
Yep. Oh, nice scoop by 9.
Yeah.
Just block it. Didn't try to do anything fancy.
Just keep it in front of you. And that's a guy that has so much confidence in his arm. He knows that as long as he keeps that ball in front of him, and if anyone wants to test him, he's gonna nail him.
Becomes even more important with so much room behind the plate, though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. With this much space behind the backstop, a lot of these guys, like you've alluded to before, the backstop's almost right up against you sometimes.
Yeah.
Back here, plenty of space for the ball to roll.
Oh, Hoyles thought he had ball 4 there. It was borderline inside.
Even Hoyles, though, he hesitated, I'm gonna toss my bat, go take my base, but he didn't. He held on to his bat as if he kind of figured that was going to get called a strike.
So now we have a full count. Brooks will be on the move at first. There he goes, and it is ball 4, low and inside. That was not an intent. He was not going to give in to Hoyles and put something over the middle part of the plate.
Yeah.
It was smart.
It was a smart pitch. You're hoping that Hoyles chases after it with 2 strikes, because you want to be protective in there with 2 strikes on you. That's being disciplined at the plate.
And it brings up John Sager now with the bases loaded. And Sager, it's a foul ball. It's down the left field line going, and it goes about 3 rows back. So new life for Sager.
As a batter, that is the worst feeling.
Yeah.
Just glancing off the ball and it's popped up and you're begging that it gets out of play.
And strike on the outside part of the plate. I think Spring Grove felt that was a little bit wide, but, he's been consistent.
He's been very
with
consistent with that. Well, inside corner for right-handers, outside corner for lefties.
A lot of times, John, you'll notice that has as much to do as which way the umpire leans.
Oh, yeah, I
it's
agree.
Like if he's got his head leaning to the catcher's right ear, Typically, you'll get that call.
Ooh.
And just held up. I don't know how he held. I think he did hold up.
Yeah,
I think it was a good call. They appealed and found he didn't swing, but I don't know how he did not.
He was coming around. I
talk
agree.
about
I
some
agree that
discipline.
he did hold up, but
Wow.
he
Oh,
just
that
got
2-2
it.
pitch. Well, now things got interesting. We got a full
Absolutely.
count, 2 outs, bases loaded. Everybody will be on the move.
About as pivotal as it gets at this point, Steve, because like you said, everyone is going to be moving, and a base hit, automatic, I would say 2 runs at least, depending on where the ball's hit.
And the payoff pitch to Sager. Ball 4, high and outside. And the Rockets take a 3-2 lead on the bases loaded walk to John Sager.
And out comes sprinting Chris Miller,
Yeah,
the coach for Donegal.
That was pretty fast.
And if you'll go back to the Donegal's playoff game against Palmyra, they won with a bases-loaded walk in the final inning. It was a walk-off walk, and is how they defeated Palmyra.
So you got Brandon Schuchart up now with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And he takes a ball low. He's not missing by a lot, except for that fourth ball there to Sager.
The final
That was
ball
way
there was
outside.
out, but
Yep.
he's not spraying them. He's keeping it close.
Nope, there's a grounder up the middle, fielded at shortstop, flips to second. Hauser to Myers to end the inning, but the Rockets plate 2, and Spring Grove now has a 3-2 lead after 3 of the District 3 championship
We're getting a
games.
really good matchup here, Steve. We're not seeing anybody leaning either way. More momentum for Spring Grove after that, but now Donegal, they have their 7, 8, 9 up. They can get something going there, get their top of the order up. They're going to be in a position to maybe score some runs.
What a joy to be here for 2 really good baseball games. We're sitting outside. We don't even want press boxes. We're outside in front of them. Comfortable and beautiful night, and we're not in an office.
You're right. You could not ask for a better atmosphere, and it's hard to believe this is work.
Yeah. Of course, that's what my wife says when she sees my paycheck. Sometimes
Hard to believe
hard
this
to
is
believe
work.
But no, it's I had so many years, and I get the question a lot. You watch sports,
Yeah.
It's
It's
a good gig.
Sports writers and journalists and broadcasters, we're interesting creatures because we love sports so much that we had to make it our job. But when we get time off, or we're off at the end of the night, or you leave the office, or you go do what you do, what do you go do? You go turn on sports and watch sports. So it's almost like it's almost more of an obsession or an addiction than it is a job, because it's just something you love to being around.
And my guess is you check your Pirate scores on a
absolutely.
routine basis, as I do the Tigers, and certainly during hockey season, I have the Red Wings I follow closely, and it's.
And I love the fact that the Pittsburgh affiliate stations actually reach the whole way out to Lancaster, so I can watch them.
Now batting for Donegal, number 27, Dale Hauser.
Dale Hauser had an infield hit in his first at-bat.
So Anthony Reed gets to pitch with the lead for the first time in the game here in the top of the 4th, and his first pitch is inside, and actually he squeezes back to the backstop for ball 1. In preparation for today, actually, the Revolution played an 11 a.m. game. And, of course, I, was in the car a good bit, and I listened to a good friend, Daryl Henry, and the Revs play-by-play guy. But I tweeted at him for pointers, but he was too busy to answer. So, I'm not sure.
Sometimes you can just listen and pick up on stuff.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I will tell you, and especially with having to do 2 games involving 4 teams, the preparation was not Daryl Henry like. Daryl prepares more than anybody I've ever met, when it comes to do his broadcast.
Not as easy as people may think it is.
No.
The idea is to make it look easy, and he definitely does that.
Yeah, and you know, and the thing of it is, like, and part of that preparation is, as Hauser now is up 3-1 in the count, part of that preparation, I think, is because, you know, when they're on the road, you know, he's in the booth by himself almost the entire time. So you got to have a lot of stuff at your fingertips.
And you got to enjoy talking to yourself.
Yeah. Hauser earns a walk on a low-breaking pitch. So that brings up Adam Kalenda.
Second walk of the night for Reed. So far, three strikeouts, 2 walks, along with 5 hits. Glenda grounded out in his first at bat.
Throw over to first. And I have a hunch that he's got a better move.
Yeah,
that looked like a cursory one that say, okay, this is what I'm looking at you. Those lefties. Runner going, and there's a line drive down the left field line for a base hit. Hauser pulling up into third. There goes Kalendra with a double. Now, I would hasten to say I believe that was a true hit and run.
Yeah.
But he pulled the ball down the line. He really jumped on that pitch.
That was, if they did call that was about as good as execution as you can possibly get. Advances the runner to third. You got basically a stand-up double out of it. Now you got runners in second and third with Kyle Hess coming up. Nobody out.
Yeah, different situation, and Stifler makes a visit to the mound. Again, a 2 visit. Talk to the pitcher, settle him down.
Right.
But talk about defensively. What do you want to do in this situation?
Well, yeah, if you're the infielder, are you playing up and gunning them down on a ground ball, or are you just trying to get an out at this inning?
I think it's early. It's still, 4th inning. Worst case scenario on that, it's a tie game.
Mm-hmm.
I think you try to get the out at least up the middle. Maybe you come in at the corners.
If it's coming in hot in the corners and you get it real quick and that runner breaks, maybe you try to gun them down at home. You just don't want to. You want to avert catastrophe, though. You don't want to make a throw to home where the guy is safe and then you still get another base run out of it and you get nothing.
Right. And the bunt attempt was foul. That was a tough pitch to bunt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Running in on the hands.
Hess pretty anxious to get that bunt down. Didn't really think about what the pitch was.
Yeah. And this is Kyle Hess, who's up to bat, the number 9 hitter. Rockets are in at the corners, straight up the middle.
Looks like Hess is abandoning the bunt. As a lefty, he can try to bloop it over the first baseman.
And ball down low, 2-1. As Hess walked his last at bat, if I remember.
That is correct.
Yeah, you mentioned the chatter of the Donegal kids. They're going to sound like me after this game.
They leave it all out there. They usually don't leave with much voice.
Oh, wicked pitch.
Swept right out of the zone.
Yeah, and, more of a changeup, probably little movement just from the lefty, but, disguised speed.
Yeah, it looks like such an appetizing pitch to swing at,
Yep.
and before you know it, your timing's so off.
And there was the sweeper and strike 3 swinging. So Reed gets an out here. So now you got runners on second and third with 1 out, but you have to deal with the leadoff hitter Ryan Myers pesky. We could find a lot of adjectives for this kid.
That would be a good way of putting it. And his single that he had was to the right side of the field. That happens again. There's a little bit of a gap there. They could maybe bloop it over the first baseman's head, who's playing up on the corner. Even a fly ball would probably get a run in at this point.
And I'm thinking Spring Grove might be a little bit wary of the squeeze. You know, leadoff hitters are typically pretty good bunters.
And they tried it with Kyle Hess on the first pitch.
Yeah, there's a ball outside, knocked down by Hoyles. That's a 2-0 count. There's a grounder to second. They'll concede the run to get the out. Myers is thrown out by Brandon Schukert, and it is a 3-3 ball game. RBI for Myers in the leadoff spot. Great at bat.
That's exactly what Donegal wanted. They wanted to get the ball deep enough that they had to take the out at first, but so Spring Grove would concede the run. Now we got a tie ball game. They got a guy on third. They have Cam Nye up with a guy in scoring position. You can't ask for much more.
And I would credit the Rockets because I'll tell you what, if the infield's up, that ball's through.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. They play. If they bring everybody up, that's going to get through, and all of a sudden, you're probably going to score 2 on that because there's no one behind you.
No, absolutely. So now we got a runner on third and 2 outs. Cameron Nye up to bat. Takes a strike.
Nye so far is 1 for 2 with an infield hit.
Look at that stance. He sits so heavy on his back foot. Chopper to third. Bobbled. Long throw. He is safe.
That was a hard hit ball that was going to chop around.
It was in between on that chop and where to play it. And that Kalenda comes across to score. Donegal takes a 4-3 lead. I think that's going to go as an error, but it was a really tough play.
You know, as an infielder, sometimes it's just a matter of being set in the wrong place because how that ball comes off the grass is whether or not you're going to have to try to short hop it or you're going to be able to catch it on the fly. It's just so hard to judge a lot of the times, and what you saw there was just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Another run scores for Donegal. They're able to take the lead.
And does the big field, you know, the different surroundings play a role on that type of defensive play as well?
To an extent, I would have to say so. I would say so. It's just everything comes off the bat, or the view just is different in almost every situation.
And runner goes on the 1-1 pitch. Hoyles throws, not in time. Now, that was probably the first time I would say, I believe, Reed kind of lost track of his runner.
Yeah.
He stole that one on Reed.
Yeah, what a great jump and a great jump by the runner there to see that he was not being watched overly as much as he should have been.
And Ruth was indeed charged with an error on that batted ball by Nye. And now Donegal can really make something with a base hit here. He hits a sky-high pop-up first base. Looking into the high sky, he makes a tough play on it.
Was not as easy as as one would think.
Ends the inning. So after 3.5, Donegal back and forth, now leads 4-3.
They are exchanging blows left and right now, and now it's time for Spring Grove to try to answer the bell. Both coaches have made a mound visit so far to their starting pitcher to try to calm them down. Neither one of them has really been too rattled. You haven't seen too much errant throwing or anyone getting peppered, but there has been times where coaches felt like they needed to calm their pitchers down. Overall, pretty solid pitching performances from both guys so far.
And that was the first error of the game, on that play. And I mean, just like the first game, we'd had a few errors at this point in time here in the.
Albeit a costly one.
Yes.
It's hard to issue an error in that situation just because most third basemen were going to do the exact same thing that happened there. It was just a matter of that ball coming in hot. The way that you're set up there, it's just going to come in a very awkward kind of a hop there. But nevertheless, Donegal gets a run across to take the lead.
looking at the clock out in center field. 8:26, still 84 degrees. Beautiful night. John, I love summer. I love covering football, certainly basketball and swimming and that. But boy, I just love the summertime when you can be outside and you still have daylight at 8:30.
Well, with this kind of a night, it's something that I can buy into. I'm not a huge summer person because I hate hot weather because I'm always hot regardless. I start sweating if I do as much as peel an orange. But but when it's like this, where you got a little bit of a breeze, where it's a nice weather outside and it's not sweltering, you know what? I'll buy into summer. I'll buy into these nights anytime.
We'll warn you, that may change when you get to be my age and you hate being cold. Believe me, that was a major change for me.
Well, I hope so, because I just feel like no matter what, I'm sweating whenever it's February.
Got a 3-1 count now on Austin Pidy. I think we're going to go with Pidy for now.
I think that's what we agreed on, yeah.
And he just walked and pitched low and away. So now you got Anthony Reed coming up, and Coach Stifler has a word for him. I don't know if they're going to look. You might see a hit and run on here.
That was Lazowski's first walk of the game. So
no, he had the bases loaded walk.
Oh, the base. Yeah, obviously. I guess the most important walk of the game would happen when he walked in a run. Yeah. So 2 walks on the day.
Yeah. I think somebody may be throwing down the Spring Grove bullpen. That's the one thing we cannot see from this angle. It looks like they got a protector down there. So
yeah, somebody is warming up down there.
Reed bunts says first effort goes foul.
Maybe that talk to Reed was going to try to get a bunt down to advance surrender, get a guy in scoring position with 1 out. Let's see if they abandon that after the foul ball. No, he's back in the bunt position.
Squared. And that one he gets down right in front of the plate. Bobble throws, and he threw it away. Oh, boy, here's going to be interesting now. And we got runners now at second and third with nobody out. I just don't think Lazowski gripped the ball.
He rushed that because it was hit right to him.
Yeah.
He rushed to pick it up. He bobbled it a little bit. And as soon as he threw that, he must have released that so early because that almost went into the seats whenever he let go of the ball.
I think the bobble threw him off. He still had time after the bobble, and I just don't think he ever gripped the ball. And boy, he threw that thing high and wide.
No, I think you're right. He could not have had a solid grip on that because honestly, when he let go of it,
it was gone.
It was so far airmailed that it.
Yeah.
And now, if you're Donegal, Chris Miller out on the mound having another talk with his pitcher and his defense in general. Leaving Lazowski in there. They got runners on second and third, nobody out.
Cam Sterner, although Sterner the number 9 hitter, let's not be fooled by that. He's had some big hits this year, and I think there again, I think they're going to play it the same way Spring Grove did in the top of the inning. Play normal depth up the middle, squeeze in at the corners a little bit, and hope for the best.
And I would say any kind of fly ball here would probably get them a run. If you're Spring Grove, you just want Sterner to put the ball in play.
Yeah.
You're not really in a double play risk in any sense. So get the ball in play, see what happens.
And if you're Lazowski, you really got to go after him. Good. Strike on the outside corner, strike on the inside corner. And looks like Donegal's going to get somebody throwing as well. And he rung him up. He took 3 straight pitches. That one on the outside corner.
If you're Spring Grove, that's not what you wanted if you were Spring Grove. But if you're Donegal, you couldn't have asked for anything better at that point.
Now you got Trent Baker getting in the left-handed batter's box.
Looks like Colin Brown is the one warming up in the bullpen for Donegal.
Baker, it's a fair ball down the right field line, and Spring Grove's going to be in the lead. So Baker with a 2-run single. He scores Schukert and Peide. And the Rockets are up 5-4, and these two teams are going to keep battling.
Talk about answering the bell right there.
The top of this Rockets lineup is really dangerous.
And that was
First
just
three hitters.
ripped down the first base line. Couldn't ask for anything better there.
Caleb Ruth steps in now, takes a ball high. This could be the last batter for Lazowski.
Yeah, if he doesn't get him here, this I would have to say that Chris Miller will make a pitching change.
And just fouled back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner goes. Oh, I think that was a hit and run as he hit a protective on the screen. Oh. That was one of those. That ball bounced off the window of one of the skyboxes, came back and hit a young Donegal fan right in top of the head. And I feel bad for him there. He
Seems to be
okay.
all right. A little shaken up because whenever you're not expecting it, you get hit in the head with a ball. You don't really know what's going on.
Yep, staff checks on him. Oh, big hold there by Ruth on a borderline pitch. So we got, I believe it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Everybody checking on the young man. Dad gave him a smile, so he must be doing okay.
Yeah, if you get a rub on the head, say you're fine, back at it.
Runner goes, and once again, fouled back by Ruth.
So you got to assume the runner's going to be going on the rest of the pitches from here on out.
Ruth's a contact guy, you can see even on those pitches, they're, even if he's not going to hit him, he's going to do what he can to foul him off.
Ruth's 1 for 2 with the single.
Runner not going, and Ruth hits a little dribbler to third, throw to second for 1, relay back to first, not in time. That was the ball was not hit sharp enough to get 2 on, but nice play at third by Derek Moore over to Ryan Myers at second for the force. And we got 2 outs, and Matt Brooks comes up.
Maybe you wish you would have sent the runner on that one.
I think the runner might have needed a rest. He ran twice, and
he's probably
Ruth
gassed.
fouled them both
He's
off.
probably gassed right now.
Breaking ball, nice, really nice pitch. I mean, tough pitch for Lazowski. You got bullpen guys warming up. You're in trouble. You're facing the top hitter on the Rockets team, and yet start off with a great breaking pitch.
Yeah, it's crunch time for Lazowski as Brooks takes a timeout. But if you're on the mound right now, you know that you got the shortest of leashes, which can sometimes psych you out even more. So I guess you got to put that out of your head and just go out there and throw.
And Brooks fouls that one off, and now everybody pay attention. That one might have scooted over the roof, but wow. Tough pitch to take by Brooks.
That's discipline because that
Yeah.
most batters are swinging away at that one.
And it didn't miss by much. I think it was outside, maybe a little high, but it did not miss by much.
Yeah, the
Great
north-south
pitch by
looked pretty
Lazowski.
good. But
Yeah. Runner goes, and Brooks lines a high fly ball, but that is straight away center. They had him played fairly deep there. Well positioned by the Donegal outfield, and it's the 3rd out of the game, the inning. After 4, Spring Grove 5, Donegal 4. We might be here a while, my friend.
What a matchup so far. Both teams answering. You can't if you're watching, if you're thinking about what a championship game's like, you got to be thinking this is has the dynamics of all of it. You have 2 pitchers who are going at it pretty well. You see momentum shifts. You see, I guess you see the barometer switching on both sides. But going into the fifth, Spring Grove holds a 5-4 lead. Coming up for Donegal in the top of the fifth is Lazowski in the 4th spot, then Bowden in the 5th spot, and Derek Moore rounding out at 6th. So far, Lazowski's 2 for 2. He's had 3 RBIs. He had that infield hit in the first, and he also had an RBI single in the 3rd. Bowden will try to get back on track. He's had 2 strikeouts. And then Derek Moore, 2 groundouts, 0 for 2. So Lazowski carrying a red-hot bat. He'll lead off the inning for the Indians. You are listening to the District 3 Class AAA Baseball Championship here on GameTimePA.com. I'm John Buffone with Steve Navaroli. Could not have asked for 2 better games so far. Hempfield taking the Quad A Championship in the matinee game with a 6-5 decision over Chambersburg. Donegal trying to become the second LL team here to capture a district title. The Donegal softball team, which took District 3 gold earlier in the day, is here to cheer on the baseball team. And we are about to commence the 5th inning here. Here comes the pitch from Reed. Called strike. Good framing there by Hoyles. Second pitch is outside, 1-1 count. It'll be interesting to see if Lazowski is brought back in to pitch in the bottom of the frame. Regardless, I have to assume he'll be staying in because he's been hitting the ball so well. Fouled off there. Reed now working with a 1-2 count. And a breaking ball that just misses the inside corner. Takes it to a 2-2 count on Lazowski. Ball popped up, looking like it's going to get out of play, though. Heading for the Spring Grove fans. And we remain at a 2-2 count. Top of the 5th, Spring Grove leads Donegal 5-4. Both teams sporting 6 hits. Both teams also with 1 error. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Lazowski. Grounder, chopped to second base. Fielded well, not in time. Lazowski with another infield hit. He is now 3 for 3 on the day, and the Indians get a man aboard with no outs in the top of the 5th. In comes Chris Bowden, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Let's see if manager Chris Miller is going to put the bunt on here to maybe get a guy in scoring position, given Bowden's struggle with the plate so far today. He's swinging away, and he fouls off the first one, 0-1. To Bodine.
And thank you for the fill in there, John. And I see I missed another infield hit.
Oh, Lazowski, he seems to be placing him right where he needs to.
Once again, it helps when you're a lefty. You get out of that box a little bit quicker.
And he's hitting choppers, which are just hard to judge, hard to field, and then transfer over. If you're a second baseman, you have to backhand it and then try to turn your body. There goes the courtesy runner.
Look at that. Oh, that ball hit the runner, so he's out. And Spring Grove just turned a double play. Although, no, that won't be a double play. That'll be a dead ball.
A dead ball.
Dead ball. It goes as a hit for the batter, but the runner is out. And that ball chopped right into him. He ran into it. I don't think he could avoid it, though.
I was curious of why they let the play continue, or maybe they called it dead and they just kept playing, because I knew
that was why.
If you get hit by the ball there, you're out.
How about the ricochet, though, right to the second baseman?
It couldn't have worked out any better had it not be a dead ball.
But that is by rule a dead ball as soon as it happens. Again, base hit for the batter, runner is out. See, I'm kind of a baseball rules geek. It's maybe one of the unknown things about me. So I typically have a good feel. And a lot of times when I'm here covering the Revs, sometimes they'll say, now, what is that? Now, it's just,
well, there's so many different folds and rules to baseball where any situation you can bet there's a rule for it, and it's hard to keep track of all of them.
So here comes Derek Moore, the Indians' third baseman, and Moore at 240 on the year, and he drills this one to a little bit into right center, but a really well-tracked ball by John Sager. John Sager's a very good outfielder. I mean, he sees the ball well, and he goes and gets it.
The way that ball came off the bat, you would think it might have been able to get down, but Sager just right off the bat knew exactly where the vicinity where the ball was going to be, tracked it down, made it look easy.
One of the things, John, I have found with covering a lot of Atlantic League, being here and being in Lancaster several times and that, the ball travels differently the later it gets.
I agree.
So in other words, you see a ball maybe like that. If it's 5 o'clock, that ball's probably down, maybe is down and in the gap where it holds up a little bit. I look at Lancaster, anything hit to right field before the sun goes down, it's a home run.
It does seem to carry out into right field, and people don't think about that much because you don't want to factor too much science into it. This is baseball. So, but whenever things cut through the air differently, it can make a difference.
And there's 2 outs now as Dale Hauser steps up. And sorry for the science lesson, folks. I'm sure you will want to know more what's going on in the field. But John and I've been doing this for a while, so we're going on our own wavelength a little bit.
Sometimes you just got to talk about the atmospheric breakdown,
Exactly. Yeah, there's words we wouldn't have thought we'd say either. Atmospheric breakdown. So 2-0 count. And now it's 3-0.
Hauser so far 1 for 1 with an infield hit, and he did walk his last at bat, so he's shown a little bit of discipline at the plate, maybe trying to draw another one. Timeout called.
It's like both bullpens are quiet now.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to let their pitchers get a little more settled down.
And 4-pitch walk there, allowed by Reed as Hauser advances, and now you've got Moore on second for Adam Kalenda.
It's third walk of the game for Reed. Looks like we're going to see a pinch hitter here for Donegal, maybe.
Maybe a pinch runner.
Maybe a pinch runner.
I think. Because I believe Chris Miller was pointing out towards second base.
You're right.
And yes, he was. Is that number 8 or 9? I can't quite make that one
Number
out.
9.
That would be Edwards, who was a courtesy runner early, so he's out. It's Seiler Edwards, a freshman. Must be a pretty fast runner because they've used him as courtesy runner already. Now he's being used as a pinch runner, so he'll just stay in that role. Probably a JV call-up with a lot of speed.
Yeah, and some of those, a lot of the times that's something you can utilize a lot. Specialty guys.
Yep. And pitch to Kalenda is inside for a ball, and Stifler's going to come out and talk to Reed.
Kalenda 1 for 2. He did have that really nice double earlier in the game.
Is that the only extra base hit of the game, I think?
For Donegal, I would say so.
Spring Grove is all singles as well.
I believe you're right.
See, I may not remember much, but occasionally stuff pops in.
You remember what counts. Kalenda had that stand-up double he hit down to, I believe, left field. It's actually, it turned out, I think the runner was going on that. It advanced the guy from first all the way to third. Donegal would love another double out of Kalenda right here. Probably score 2 runs.
And swung through a fastball there.
You hear Chris Miller, the coach for Donegal, saying, stay within yourself. Maybe thought that he overexerted himself a little bit on that.
You know what? I think that's a great point because I think he did on that swing. I really did. Yeah, that one I think he might have been a little more defensive, but
Yeah.
you know.
These are tentative swings.
Yeah.
One was overzealous, and that one was a little more tentative. Maybe he's going to find a happy medium here.
Well, he's getting a hook now. I
Yeah.
think the hook's coming.
Oh, yeah, you're going to see a breaking ball.
Two fastballs. I'm sure that breaking ball's coming on a 0-2. Now he went fastball, and he hits
That's
it
gonna
right
get
up
down.
the middle into center field for a base hit. The pinch runner scores, throw to third, nope, and great base running by Calenda. Probably not a great decision throwing to third. Calenda takes second on the throw after his RBI single. Tied the game. What are the chances?
And you know what? The Donegal runner at third base right now, Hauser, he overran third, and once the ball came into Ruth looked to try to throw Calenda out at second. He would have had Hauser done at third, but and you can hear the fans yelling at him.
Up steps Kyle Hess, who swings through a pitch for strike one. Oh boy, this is quite a game, and it was a lot of fun. I was watching the Donegal softball team; they were really up on that. That was funny.
That was
they're having a good time.
One of those things that just kind of dies right in the no man's land there.
And swings through first strike two, but 1 ball, 2 strikes. Second and third with 2 outs. Not a whole lot of zeros on that scoreboard, John.
No.
Everybody's scoring in pretty much every inning.
Yeah, they're just keep jabbing at each other a little bit, and we're deadlocked again.
Struck him out. Looked at a third strike on the outside corner. Good pitch there with 1-2 pitch. That's a hard one to hit. We are through 4.5. It is Donegal 5, Spring Grove 5.
What else could you ask for, Steve, really? I mean, two teams that are matching each other run for run, basically, and going back and forth. Both teams are getting base runners. You're seeing. I don't want to say. I guess you could say that both teams are trying to perfect the small ball approach right now because no one's putting runs up in chunks. The highest amount of runs scored in an inning so far has been 2, which has happened 3 times.
Yep. How about that? I mean, 8 hits for Donegal, 6 hits for Spring Grove. Each team has made an error, but I think the play has been solid. Maybe
and
a
uniform,
decision here and there. But that's all you can ask for in a game like this. And they are anywhere from 15 to 18-year-old young men, basically. They're not getting paid to do this. They're gonna. They're liable to not make a good decision here and there.
And it looks like we might have a new pitcher if my eyes are serving me correctly.
That's Ethan Hess.
Yeah.
So Ethan Hess takes over on the mound. Am I assuming Lazowski stays in to play center field? Is that a direct change? No, it's not 19. So maybe, I'm sure Lazowski with his bat is staying in the lineup.
You would have to
somewhere.
think so. He's been probably their most productive hitter today. He is in right field.
Okay, so right field. So Hess, the other Hess moved over then from right to center. Try to give you some numbers here on Ethan Hess, who's just taken over on the mound.
I talked to Chris Miller about Ethan Hess a little bit there in their last game. Said they haven't really utilized him too much in the playoffs, but he's a guy that they have a lot of confidence in to go out there and get the job done.
0.49 ERA. Now he is 2-3. It's 7 appearances. He has five decisions. 2-3. It tells me he's come into this situation a lot.
It's a guy that, like I said, that they feel comfortable putting out there in a crunch time situation.
Well, he's got a tough one here. He's got to face Derek Hoyles to lead it off.
Hoyle so far 1 for 1 with a walk and an infield hit.
And it's a 2-0 count on Hoyles. Now you got a hitter's count. And a strike on the inside corner.
Hess might have a little more velocity than
I think
Lukowski did.
so. He bounces that one up there, so it's 3-1 count. Hoyles fouled that one off. It's a good pitch. He didn't give in to him, but he threw him something on the wasn't over the middle of the plate either though. And Hoyles hits one sharply to third. Nice play by Moore. Throws him out. Another
Nice
big
scoop
over there by Bowden. One out, and John Sager steps in, and Sager had he had the big hit last inning or last time? Or is that who walked?
Yeah, he was the one
He had
who
to
walked,
walk,
yeah.
okay.
With the bases loaded, he walked.
John, one of the few people I know with writing as bad as mine,
Yeah,
so I
this is
couldn't make it out.
unbelievable.
And Sager hits first pitch, grounder several hops to short. Dale Hauser to Chris Bowden, flings him out, and there's 2 quick outs.
Something we're not accustomed to seeing in this game
No.
so far.
Now batting for the Rockets, number 21, Brandon Schuhart.
So here comes Schuhart here, and nobody out, 2 on. 2 outs, nobody on, rather.
Schuhart 1 for 2. We had an RBI single in the second.
Fouls this one. That one's going to bounce back. Nope, it stayed up.
Oh, does
Still
it? Yep.
bouncing. It did stay up there.
Like a bouncy ball up there.
And he fouls another one off down there. And that one's bouncing around the upper level, and that one stays as well.
He's peppering the second level right now.
I know that. I understand the Donegal fans wanted that one. I think it was a little bit outside.
I agree it was outside. Oh, gosh, did
was
Donegal
close.
coach Chris Miller want that one?
Yeah. And another foul back, this one to the screen. Count as 1 and 2 on Brandon Schuhart.
I think Coach Miller ran out there to get that foul ball just so he could toss it to the umpire and maybe say a few words to him.
And this one is hit foul. Third baseman chasing down, and Derek Moore. And Derek Moore is a good third baseman. You can just see
absolutely.
it by the way he approaches everything. Good play by Moore. Ends the inning. We are through 5 of the District 3 Class AAA Championship game, tied at 5.
A rare 1-2-3 inning.
We haven't seen many.
No.
Have we seen any?
I don't think we have. That might have been the first 1-2-3 inning. Spring Grove went 1-2-3 in the top of the first. Donegal will have the top of the order coming up in the top of the 6th. Myers 1 for 3. Cameron Nye 1 for 3. Ethan Hess 0 for 3. Myers had a single in the first, but he also hit a grounder where he got thrown out on, but it manufactured a run to make the score 3-all. Seems like ages ago, however.
Yeah, it does. Well, they're distinctly different games we've had, John. Similar scores, but you know, the first game. Oh, Myers hits the first pitch up the middle for a base hit. Boy, he hit that one on the numbers. That might be the hardest hit ball they've had tonight.
I was just going to say that out of all their base hits, that's up there as probably the hardest hit so far.
And that might be it for Mr. Reed. Stifler's making a slow walk to the mound. Now, I was saying about the similar games score-wise, but the other game we saw, the runs were all in bunches. This one, it's coming inning by inning.
Yeah, it was a lot streakier of a game with Hempfield and Chambersburg. This is slow, methodical execution, get a run across no matter what you got to do it. And I don't know. I mean, both of them very exciting in their own right.
And it looks like Sager is coming in from center field to take the mound. Couple changes here for Spring Grove. Ty Mifflin, brother of Will Mifflin, who I talked about a little bit earlier. Ty's taking over in right field, which will push the right fielder Cam Sterner into center.
Once again, we are deadlocked at 5-5, top of the sixth. Donowitz, a leadoff single from Ryan Myers.
Now pitching for the Rockets, number 15, John Sager.
Reminder that you are watching the District 3 Class A, AAA, or AAA, depending on how you'd like to say that, on GameTimePA.com. I'm John Maffone. My good buddy, Steve Navaroli.
Another lefty on the mound now for Spring Grove, and definitely a different throwing motion, and probably not quite as harsh a breaking stuff. Although I think the Indians adjusted really well through their later at bats.
Yeah, they had a lot of trouble with it to start the game, and as they progressed, it seemed like they picked up on the delivery. The hardest thing to do in a breaking ball is stay in there. You don't want to jump out like it's going to hit you, because then it sweeps into the strike zone and you look like a fool. To stay strong in there and wait on it. And I think they did a much better job doing that as the game progressed. Now they're going to see a different pitcher. They got a whole new delivery and probably a much different speed to try to catch up to, or at least a different repertoire of pitches.
And Cam Nye coming up to bat now.
Cam Nye grounded out, has an infield hit, and then reached base on an error, which actually scored a run and put the Indians up 4-3.
Nye bunts down the first baseline. Well, he stops.
He did his job.
Yep, absolutely. He stopped so he didn't get tagged out. I don't know that would have mattered much, but he avoided a collision nonetheless.
And I think he wanted to take up as much time as possible to make sure there was no play at second base. His job was to advance the runner to second.
He did
That's exactly what he did.
That was a great bunt. Sager to Piety for the out. Now they got the speedy Myers on second base, just where you want him, and it's manufacture run time once again for Donegal. Now Ethan Hess, who can now help himself out as the pitcher. Now funny, both starting center fielders have come in to pitch.
Hess probably happy the pitching change was made. He's struck out twice and flied out so far this game.
Wait. Sager just painted the outside corner there. Foul back to the screen. I believe it's a 1-2 count. Yeah, it's the only thing disappointed me tonight. They haven't updated the balls and strikes on the scoreboard.
Yeah, that I keep trying to use it as a crutch, and then I realize it's not there.
Yeah.
Pass ball.
High and away, and that gets back to the screen, moving Myers up to third. So now you got a runner, tying the go-ahead run 90 feet away here in the top of the sixth.
Fly ball probably get Myers in with his speed.
Oh, you would definitely think so. I don't even think it has to be a deep fly ball.
No, at this point.
I think the corner infielders better be careful if they go field a foul ball with the way that kid runs.
That's a good point. You get a foul ball down the line a little bit because there is so much room here. By the time you catch it, collect yourself, and make a throw to home, I don't know.
I'm sure Meyer's going to be trying to get as far down the line as he can in case the ball would get away, too, with that room.
Yeah, pass ball's definitely a run.
Beautiful pitch by Sagers. He strikes out Hess on a breaking pitch for the second out. Again, go-ahead run 90 feet away. Sam Lazowski up, and you know, lefty on lefty, but, you know, Lazowski has, how many hits?
He's three for three. Two infield hits and an RBI single. Has 3 RBIs on the day so far. If you're Donegal, this is the guy you want up.
And if you're Spring Grove, do you consider putting him on?
Maybe. Although, I mean, you got a new pitcher in there. You want to see if he can handle the lefty on lefty there. Different delivery. Maybe with the way Donegal's been able to manufacture runs, you want to limit the amount of base runners you have.
First pitch down low for a ball. There's a grounder to first. That one is eaten up by Austin Piety, and Spring Grove gets out of danger. Go-ahead run on second with 1 out, third with 1 out, but they get out of it. Beautiful. Really solid pitching by John Sager.
That was a big stop for Spring Grove there. Looked like Donegal was in the midst of manufacturing the go-ahead run there, and now they have the opportunity to take the lead in the bottom of the 6th here.
If you just joined us, 5-all, bottom of the 6th on a beautiful night here in downtown York. I think it's been everything we could have expected, but maybe more.
Sometimes you go into these district championship games and they're built up pretty nicely, but ultimately they turn out to be blowouts or not as exciting as you had hoped. Both of these games here in York have been unbelievable. They are true championship games. You really can't tell who's going to win until the final out is registered, and that's how this one's going to happen too, because you have 2 teams that have been battling back and forth, going shot for shot basically, and it's going to be an exciting finish.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget, in our first game, Hatfield busted out that 6-0 lead, and Chambersburg, then scored 4, and they chipped away, and they had the tying run 90 feet away when the game ended.
Oh yeah, that game was not in anybody's grasp until that final out was made. So 2 great championship games in Class AAA, Class Quad A. If you're joining us on GameTimePA.com, you're getting a real treat, just like the fans here in person are.
Except for they don't get to listen to our voice.
That's true.
In person,
that can be taken in a positive way or a negative way.
Excellent point, my friend. Excellent point. Austin Piety steps up and he takes a ball down low. And I'm shocking that the Donegal softball team is leading the cheers down there.
They are leading the cheers and the jeers towards the Spring Grove baseball team.
And Spring Grove responds. And again, this is the way it's supposed to be.
And that's so good to see in a baseball game.
Yes.
You see that all the time in basketball,
right,
and you see it in football.
Yep.
To see it at a baseball game is fantastic. That means people are really getting excited about it. That means they're really into the game. And that's a testament to how good the game is in itself.
There's a chopper. It's a nice cutoff at shortstop. Beautiful play by Dale Hauser. Boy, this left side of the Indians infield is terrific with Moore at third and Hauser at second. I mean, at shortstop. And, even one of the Spring Grove fans who's sitting down in front of us, John, he's very vocal all night, and he's just yelling, good play, good play.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Steve. I thought as soon as that came off the bat, that was a base hit all the way. And what a job of feeling the ball and making the throw.
Here comes Ty Mifflin now. He's hitting in Anthony Reed's spot. Mifflin's first at bat of the game. He dribbles one back to the mound. The freshman is retired 1-3 for the second out of the 6th inning. I'm sorry, Mifflin, he is a sophomore. And here comes Cam Sterner. Mufflin probably a little bit anxious as his first at bat of the game. I think he swung early and got that right off the end of the bat.
Yeah, that was an easy play for Hess to make.
That one is lined back sharply off the concession stand.
Thinking that one probably put a dent in a steel gate somewhere.
Not sure where that pitch was. I'm going to assume it was a little bit tight. But, a good pitch, but counts even at 1.
Sterner almost showed bunt there.
Yeah. Probably just, I think it's just to get the infield thinking.
Yeah.
He might lay one down.
Looks like Cam Nye will go out there and talk to Hess real quick. A reminder that both of these teams, regardless of the outcome here, their seasons are not over. The PIAA tournament starts next week, when all the teams in the state tournament will try to make a deep run. Doesn't really matter what your seeding is at that point. Everybody in the state tournament's good. Doesn't matter what your seeding is.
And Sterner fouls that one off down the right field line into the seats.
And he walked him.
And he earned that walk, fouled off a tough pitch. So you got the number 9 hitter walks with 2 outs. So there he stands as Trent Baker comes in, the leadoff hitter.
Baker so far 2 for 3 with 2 singles and 2 RBIs.
And Baker fouls that one the other way down the left field line. Sterner goes on the pitch, ball's inside, and that throw goes into center field, off the shortstop's glove covering. Sterner ends up on third, second error of the game for the Indians. And you know what I think happened there? I mean, I think Sterner had it beat. I'd scored a stolen base and an error, but the shortstop Hauser, who's done such a great job tonight, knew it was going to be a close play, and I think he just tried to pull the tag down too quick.
I would agree, and also that throw from Nye, it had a lot of smoke on it, but he threw it off balance too. He was kind of upset with the way that he threw it after
Left-handed
that
batter,
happened.
my friend.
Yep.
Oh, foul tip held by Nye. He makes up for the error.
Retribution at its greatest.
Retribution as a strikeout of Baker ends the 6th inning. We're going to 7, deadlocked at 5 of the District 3 Class AAA championship game.
Coming down to the wire. This is the kind of game that's primed for some kind of walk-off thing.
Well, if you're a Spring Grove fan, you like that idea.
Yeah, you'd hope so, yeah.
The walk-off. If you're Donegal, you don't
Or
like
you
that,
shut the door with a
yeah.
strikeout or something emphatic. It needs to be an exclamation point for this game.
Again, John, remember, I mean, the Spring Grove team has but one senior. And then Anthony Reed's out of the game. He started on the mound.
So it's all underclassmen.
So it's all underclassmen from here on out. And it's not a situation that, not a lot of them even had a ton of varsity experience. I mean, they all played JV pretty much. But when you think about that, that's just unbelievable.
Well, everybody with varsity experience graduated.
Yeah. It's funny. I was at their senior day last year, and I thought that pregame ceremony wasn't going to end. There's a lofted fly ball into center field, but easy play there for Cam Sterner, who took over in center.
Now batting for Nautical, number 21, Derek Moore.
Here comes Derek Moore, and what's Moore's numbers on the day?
He has two groundouts and a fly out.
He's made more of his noise with his glove, though. What
I would
great game
definitely
the young
agree.
man has had. A nasty curveball there by Sager. Ball just inside off the plate.
Despite Donegal getting low in the order, their 7th and 8th hitters, that'd be Dale Hauser and Adam Kalenda, out of 6 at-bats, have reached base 5 times. So don't let the
There's a foul pop-up.
order
That
for
one's
ya.
coming back towards us. Tough play for Hoyles, right at the screen. Nice play.
That is so much harder than it looks as you're
Yes.
a catcher and you're turning around. That ball is hanging up in the air and it's spinning every which way. It can throw you off balance. I've seen people fall down before the ball even gets to them a lot of the time when something like that. So that's a great play. Dale Hauser, 1 for 1, 2 walks and an infield hit. No stranger to the base paths
No.
today.
Also had a tremendous game with the glove.
Oh, I agree.
I'm really impressed with this Donegal. Even though you forget the 2 errors, I mean, the plays that they've made are really, really solid. And ball 1, strike 1 now.
Both teams, neither one showing that they've tightened up in a high-pressure situation. It's a district championship game. One error can cost you the game. Neither one has really showed that they're folding under any kind of pressure.
Not at all. Oh, beautiful pitch. That was a hard pitch to hit by Sager. Kind of tailing off, a little bit of a fastball, but a tailing fastball fell all the way
Where
in the strike zone.
it's in the strike zone and falls out.
Yep. And that pitch is wide, evens the count 2-2. I don't know if that had a little bit of a slider motion, maybe. I think.
It went wide. He might have let go of it a little too late there, or actually, honestly, too early, seeing that they're lefties.
Yes.
But definitely trying to get some movement down and away.
And that one is fouled back onto the roof.
If Hauser can't convert here, the Indians are trying to take this into extra innings.
Yeah, and of course Spring Grove comes in with the 2, 3, 4 batters.
Best case scenario for them.
Who you want in that situation? 2 outs, 2-2 pitch. Fouled off. Nice hang tough there. That was a tough pitch, and he fouled it off. Fought it off and fouled it
Yeah.
off.
That's a tough at bat. You're just trying to get a piece of it at this point, put it in play.
Oh, foul tip just off the equipment of Hoyles. I'm not sure. I think it might have caught him in the mask.
If Hauser can somehow get on base here, Adam Kalenda comes up, who's 2 for 3, had the double and a RBI single. Donegal would not mind having him up with a guy on.
Yeah, I think if he gets on, I almost think you got to run him.
You need a guy in
With-
scoring
with
position.
Kalenda up, who's had a great night, I think, or Kalenda, I'm sorry. I think you want him scoring position. Of course, it's academic, as Sager just threw a fastball by Hauser for strike 3, and the Rockets are coming up to bat with a chance to walk off a district championship. 5-all, Spring Grove coming to bat.
And what else would you want than the 2, 3, 4 batters up? District title on the line. Tie ball game, 5-5. Great game between Spring Grove and Donegal. Thank you for joining us here on GameTimePA.com for the District 3 Class AAA Baseball Championship game.
And a totally unexpected district championship game, potential for Spring Grove here, all things considered.
How fun has this been?
Oh, my goodness. Wow. This game deserves to be decided late.
Absolutely.
Either this inning or Donegal in an extra inning. I mean, it is, it's the way this game should be decided.
And it's a shame that someone's going to lose this game, but this is crunch time. This is what it's all about. High pressure situations.
a nice turnout. Almost kind of some late arriving students, and they've gotten loud here. Spring Grove about 20 minutes from here. Donegal about 25 minutes from here. Absolutely perfect setting for this game.
Both sides are getting into this.
Yep. Caleb Ruth leading off. He takes a ball down low. Hess hasn't made many mistakes. He hasn't always been perfectly crisp, but he's not leaving the ball up at all, which is big. On these Spring Grove hitters, you can't leave the ball up.
Absolutely not. And so far, Ruth 1 for 3 with a single.
Now he's falling behind 3-0, and that's not where you want to be.
And,
not with what's coming up.
Exactly. Like we talked about, this is a high-pressure situation. If you get the go-ahead, if you get the winning run on first, and we've seen this game so far where teams are obviously able to manufacture runs. You don't want that if you're Donegal. You want to be able to get a couple outs first.
And there's a strike on the inside corner. Ruth obviously taking all the way there. He might look at another one.
That's what I was just going to say, that, Steve. He might look at another one regardless. Yep.
And he did. He was looking, and it was over for called strikes. Now you got a full count. Now you're going to see him coil.
Yeah.
And he struck out swinging all the way back for Ethan Hess.
Look at the gusto from Hess. A 3-0 count, comes back with 3 straight strikes, gets them swinging. That's a huge out for the Indians.
That strikeout swinging was nasty. That I think.
That's digging deep, rearing back, and just throwing the ball.
So here comes Matt Brooks. Brooks takes the strike.
Brooks 0 for 3, but had a RBI on a fielder's choice.
And he hits a ground ball through into left field. So the winning run is at first base for Spring Grove, the district championship run. There is one out. And if you're Donegal, you're thinking, well, okay, Hoyles could be, he hits the ball hard, he's big, double play man.
Yeah, you're looking to twist one right here.
But if you're Spring Grove, you're thinking hit one in the gap and Mr. Brooks scores. So.
Or maybe you're just trying to get that guy to second base, maybe.
I will tell you, Hoyles will not be bunting.
No. I doubt the bunt. Maybe I don't know the speed.
Yeah. Well, you got Sager. You got Sager coming up. That's kind of an inside-out little looper in the right field. That sliding catch is made.
Lazowski.
By Lazowski. Nice catch.
I tell you what, he doesn't make that catch. That ball is rolling a while. And you possibly have guys on second and third.
Yes.
And not that it matters on the bat of the guy on second, but you have a guy at third with one out.
So now you got 2 outs. That thing, it wasn't that well hit a ball, but it had that hook off the right, that slice rather off the right-hander's bat and that. So here comes John Sager up with Brooks on, and now you think of maybe starting him.
Yeah. I think it's I don't want to say you definitely should, but it's something that you need to definitely consider at this point. He's going.
He is going, and that pitch can't be handled, so it's a stolen base for Brooks. And now you got the winning run at second, a guy that's hit really well. Now do you think, well, we're not going to give Sager anything great to hit?
Oh no, you don't give anything that even remotely looks like a nice pitch.
That one was up but away, so I think we got a 2-1 count. (3-1).
And if you're Donegal,
blown away. That's a good pitch.
Yeah, if you're Donegal, you don't really care if he gets on second because all that does is forces around the bags at that point.
His run doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that run literally means nothing.
Yep, all 4.
It means something if you can't. Oh, okay, I was going to say that ball gets away from him. And now all you have is forces at first, second, and third.
Exactly. So Schuhart coming up, chance to be the hero.
Schuhart had an RBI single in the second, then grounded out and flied out.
Cameron Nye visits the mound, calling all of his fielders in, making sure they know, hey, knock the ball down. And even if here's a situation, if you can't make a play, keep the ball in the infield so that
absolutely.
runner doesn't score. And, you got to think Brooks is thinking score, even if, you get a diving play at short. He's probably taking a wide turn ready to try to score.
And if you're the infield, if you barely get to a ball, you don't force a throw to one of the bags, because a throwing error at this point it's ball game. So don't try to force a guy out with a bad throw.
So here's the situation up. Schukert, Matt Brooks at second with the winning run. Schukert fouls the first pitch off. Strike one.
Here's your title game right here. Possibly.
Schukert fouls that one off his foot. That's a dead ball. Boy, Nye was saying, I got it. We're out of this inning.
You would have much preferred that not be called a dead ball. Such a pressurized situation.
Yeah. Gutsy performance by Ethan Hess here.
I'm nervous just talking about it.
Yeah. So the 0-2 pitch on the way. And that's fouled back right to us, John. Get your hand out. And John was ready for that, but he would have had to drop the mic.
I was about ready to lay out for it, but I opted to stay professional.
So Brandon Schukert up, 2 strikes on him. Fouled off a tough pitch there. Swung on and missed, play in the dirt. Nye will take care of this. They called him, whoa. Yep, he was out.
A lot of miscommunication on the bags there. And it worked out well for Donegal, but that could have been the worst possible way to lose the district championship game, to overthrow on a miss, on a strikeout.
And credit, credit to the umpire behind home plate, because immediately he signaled that it was a safe play. They had to make the throw. I'm not sure what was going on at first base. I do think that, Bowden, who's played a great game over there, I think was caught by surprise. I think he was starting to come off.
That's exactly what happened. I think he was actually starting to fade towards the dugout a little bit.
My thinking is, on that play, he knew that he had to run around first, so he's thinking, okay, dead ball on the strike,
over,
but with
not.
2 outs, it doesn't matter. So, again, one of the odd baseball rules that a lot of people aren't aware of.
And a throw sailed down the right field line means someone's scoring.
Yes.
And that would be ball game.
That would be it.
And that is, I don't know if you could think of a worse way to lose a game.
A game this good, that would be an awful way. Awful way for this game to end.
So we'll play 8.
Yes, and I'm sure the editors back at Game Time PA are just cursing an extra inning at this point in time. But, I think for us it's been such a great day of baseball for us. Why not?
Yeah, this is, you can't ask for a better conclusion to 2 really, really good games. Donegal last played in the district finals in 2007.
Now, was that as a double or AAA team, I'm wondering?
That's a great question. Without my encyclopedia here, I wouldn't know.
Adam Kalenda leading off, and Kalenda's had some good at-bats, couple hits.
He has a double and an RBI single. It's 2 for 3 on the day.
He takes a strike. And ball up high. And I just got a tweet from our sports editor, Liz Jones, who said, "Why not extra innings?" Shush, with a big question mark. But, I'm not writing on. We're not writing on deadline.
Nope.
So, but yeah, it's. I mean, we had nothing to do with it, though. We didn't cause it.
I'm not going to say that I hate it, though.
But it was already going extra innings when I said that, and now we got a full count. Nice pitch by Sager.
You have no culpability for that.
None
You
whatsoever.
had no impact on that. You didn't jinx anything.
Nope. It was already extra innings when I said it.
Now, if you said let's play 10, I can
That'd
see.
be a little different. Strike 3 called right over the inside part of the plate.
Great pitch.
That was a great pitch. And okay, now here's one of those. You know, that was more of a cutter, I think. And
It had a little bit of movement, but it had a lot of velocity
exactly
as it tailed off.
Crossed the plate, and I understand why he didn't swing, but it definitely crossed the plate.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, it was a strike. It was just a really nice pitch.
Yep. So here's Kyle Hess stepping in. He takes a ball low and inside.
Hess so far has 2 strikeouts and a walk today.
Chris Miller has no problem with his voice carrying.
Oh, I tell you what, we can hear him the whole way up here. He wants to make sure, and the batters can never say, I didn't hear you, Coach, because that's not possible.
Yeah. Strike on the outside part of the plate, 2-1 count. Yeah, he just showed bunt, took a strike barely on the outside part of the plate, but I was just thinking, because I was watching where Piety is at first base, I'm thinking if he drags a bunt, there's no way.
There's so much
room
room there.
But now you got 2 balls, 2 strikes. And ball outside. Tried to get him to chase that one. I mean, he threw that pitch right where Hoyle set up.
Yeah, not a bad waste pitch there.
But now you got a full count,
You're
so
going
you
to have
got
to give
to
him
throw a
something to
strike.
hit. Yeah, got to give him something he can.
Especially top of the order coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what? That ball's down the line off the first baseman's
It's still in
glove.
the corner. He could be
Look at
going
Hess
3.
going for 2. He's going for 3. Kind of hesitated, but this ball is cut off in the infield. Number 9 hitter, Kyle Hess, 2 strikeouts, just tripled down the right field line.
What an unlikely, impossible hero. Chris Miller giving him an earful of encouragement, and wow. You could not have hit that closer down the right field line, and it did exactly what you wanted to do. Once it's called fair, it tails off into the corner, and that right fielder has to run a mile to get it, and then it has to throw it a mile to try to get him out at third. There is no more clutch hit than that right now. Out of your number 9 hitter, Kyle Hess, who's had 2 strikeouts and a walk today, now with possibly the biggest hit of the season for the Donegal Indians.
And Piety might have got a piece of that ball when he laid out
Could have
at
tipped
first
it, yeah.
base, which slows it down now just enough.
Just to roll it, keep going out and keep slowly rolling.
Rolls over the mound, the bullpen mound there in right field. That's,
Yeah, because it went right to the corner. And now, Donegal in a great position to get a run in.
Potential district championship run 90 feet away.
With the top of the order up.
Yep, top of the order here in the top of the 8th.
Now you wonder what the infield does here. Do you it's hard to tell your guys that concede the run.
Yeah, no, you really can't do that. So you gotta come up tight.
It looks like they are too. They're in the grass.
And I also think too with the speed of Myers, you got a better chance at a play at home.
Oh,
maybe
that's very true. And what we've seen out of Myers so far, though, is he's going to hit it pretty hard on the ground.
Yep.
That's going to be hard for these infielders to handle if that's the case. Especially he likes to go to the right side.
And ball outside. Hess got to third quick, although he almost stopped twice during that run.
He's waiting for someone to tell him what
to do.
Go.
This one's fouled back over our heads. Is that coming back to us? Sometimes they hit that light standard up there.
We were ready for it.
That or we were going to get beamed in the head, too. So.
Well, it'd be the night.
Kyle Hess, a freshman.
Unbelievable.
There's a foul pop-up. That's going to get back into the stands. So now you got a ball and 2 strikes. Of course, Myers going to have no trouble, choking up and shortening the swing. He's a leadoff hitter.
That's probably what he's going to try to be doing regardless. get the ball in play. You got a kid on third base, chock full of adrenaline right now.
Yeah,
He's probably going to run
exactly.
a 4.40 to home plate because he's going to try to score.
What a hit for a freshman.
And a kid who struggled at the plate all day, really.
Yeah.
That's something you're going to remember for a long
my
time.
goodness, yes. My goodness. They'll remember that his whole career, no
Absolutely.
matter what happens from this point. And, and there's let's credit Chris Miller a little bit because here's a kid that struggled. He's only a freshman.
No pinch hitter.
Are you thinking, maybe I should hit for him?
Yeah.
Left him up there. I think he liked that left-handed bat in that situation.
Well, this is a team that doesn't even
came
use a
through.
DH. So,
Right.
I mean, you got
Plenty
enough
of bench
confidence.
guys.
Yeah.
And, boy, Myers hangs tough, fouling off a really, really difficult pitch from
Hanging
Sager.
in there. I'm sure Miller's doing his due diligence to coach Hess on the base path to say, if this is a ground ball that they field, you
Yeah.
stay put. There's one out.
Way up. Yep.
Oh, gosh, did Spring
just
Grove
off
want
on
that
the
one.
outside of
I
the
want to say that
plate.
it might have been a skosh outside.
I agree with you. Our view of things, it definitely looked just a little bit outside, but certainly the Rocket faithful didn't think so. A tough pitch there. Inside on the hands.
Gritty at bat here
Yep.
by Myers.
See, Chris Miller retrieved that foul ball, took his time, let his batter to get a breath and settle down.
He knows how to play the game.
Yep. And that ball is hit down the left field line. That is a fair ball. 1 run in. Got Myers chugging into second with an easy stand-up double and RBI. Donegal has now taken a 6-5 lead on Spring Grove.
What a performance at the plate by Ryan Myers.
Absolute textbook. Smallest guy on the field by a large margin.
And fouling off pitch after pitch, staying alive, and eventually gets a pitch he likes, drives it down the left field line, gets a double, and potentially the game-winning run.
Yep. Now you got Cameron Nye up to bat, and you got Myers on second. I mean, they may not be done either.
Absolutely not. You got one out with a very speedy Myers on second, and you got Nye up.
There's a ball outside, and once again, the Rockets fans don't like that.
Well, I can't imagine they're in a very good mood to begin with right
Yeah.
now.
There's a
Looked like a breaking ball that did not break there.
Yeah. Kind of left that one out. If you looked at where his release point was, it was way up there.
He walked him.
And he walked him. Although that may not be a terrible thing.
No, that
set
opens up the double play.
And you certainly, Nye's a dangerous hitter. Although Ethan Hess has got at least one hit today, doesn't he?
Ethan Hess,
does
no,
not.
he's got 3 Ks and a
Okay,
flyout.
well, then maybe that was a good thing.
Hey,
So
for Spring Grove, you can't think that's a
Right.
doomsday kind of thing because now you got
Right.
forces around the bases. You got a guy who's struggling at the plate, might put it in play, and if so, you can maybe twist a double play and get out of this inning.
but we have a pinch
but we have a
hitter.
pinch hitter.
Tyler Snyder stepping up to bat now.
Forget everything I said.
Yep. Well, no, I actually think Chris Miller remembered everything you just said, and that's why he pinch hit.
Well, then you're welcome.
Yeah. Now, how about that? If the Hesses are brothers, which, certainly a lot of reason to think they may be, how about that? The freshman comes
Yeah.
through. Unbelievable.
Like the,
Ball one. Wondering, Hoyle's probably got some dirt
Yeah,
flew
that's what
up
I'm
from
guessing.
that ball up into the eyes, and it's not a good feeling.
there was a brief moment in my career where I was a catcher, and I tell you what, you just take a beating back there.
They called it the tools of ignorance.
Yeah.
Sager's 1-0 is low and inside, and now if you're Kevin Stifler, you're thinking, man, do I need somebody else to get us out of this inning and keep the game close?
Yeah, no one's warming up in the bullpen right now, but it's got to be a thought that's crossed his mind.
There's the strike right down the middle. 2-1.
Because the last person you went up is Lazowski at this point, who has a red-hot bat. There's only one out, and he's on deck.
And ball high. Well, and you have the concern with, if it's 2 straight walks, then you got the bases loaded. That's a concern that you could end up with another walk, and.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad scenarios with bases loaded at this point. He did.
And he walked Snyder, the pinch hitter.
And now you have Sam Lazowski.
Let's see, they're going to bring. Looks like they're going to bring the infield up.
Way up. No,
they're going back.
The middles are going back.
You know what, though? With a left-handed batter, I don't think you're going to double him up.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I'd consider bringing them all up at this point in time. I know he's hit some Punch and Judy, infield hits, but
3 for 4, 2 infield hits and an RBI single.
And he takes a
But
strike.
you're absolutely right, Steve. At that point, I'm bringing them all up.
Yeah. I just don't think you can allow a second run to score.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If you allow another run, what's making you believe that you can put up 2 in the next frame? Great framing there by the catcher.
Beautiful pitch, too. Now, if he rolls up a 4-6-3 double play, then I'll be the dumbest guy around.
That's why they're down there. We're up here.
That's right. But then again, he just looped a line drive into the gap. 1 run in. Here comes the second run in, and a big inning for Donegal. The first real big inning of the game. It comes in the top of the 8th, and the Indians are smelling 2 district championships in one day.
What a time for the first 3-run inning, huh?
Yeah.
The top of the 8th. And Lazowski keeping that hot bat and potentially, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but they have really put the pressure on Spring Grove now. 3 runs in the top of the 8th.
How hard did he hit that ball, though?
That was absolutely roped. It didn't matter where you put your infielders. It wasn't anywhere near him. Bowden 1 for 4.
Now
Although he was awarded a hit after his grounder hit the base runner.
The base runner, yes. Runners at the corners here with only 1 out. So
Fly ball probably gets 1 in.
takes a strike.
Donegal trying to sweep AAA in baseball and softball.
If it wasn't, almost 10 o'clock on a school night, it'd be party time in Marietta.
I hear you.
In Mount Joy. Liner up the middle and a base hit. The 4th run of the game, for the inning, rather.
What a time for his first true hit.
Boy, that ball was smoked.
Right
too.
up the middle.
It is now a 9-5 game, and Kevin Stifler's coming out. He's got to take Sager out at this point. Derek Moore, and there's still only 1 out. So you got runners at first and second, only 1 out. I don't know what Stifler's.
Donegal softball team leading the cheers out in the stands.
I believe Austin Pitey's going to come on. No, he's asking for a ball. I didn't know if he was going to, give up his first baseman's glove. So I'm not sure what the move's going to be. Sager's going back out to center field.
What an inning. We had to go to extras. Donegal blowing it open in the 8th with 4 runs. Most runs scored in an inning so far has been 2, which they've been matching each other, run for run almost. And then Donegal comes out, top of the 8th.
Yeah. Well, and how, Well, I'll tell you what, John, I don't know if you saw in the opening round of the district playoffs, West York goes into the 9th inning and gave up 13
right.
runs. I mean, how do you explain that? And it's one of those that you just say, well, one bad inning that nothing is explainable, but it ends your season.
One horrendous inning. And let's remind viewers that this all started with Kyle Hess, the number 9 batter.
Freshman
number 9 batter who hadn't done much of the plate with 2 strikeouts today. Ropes a ball down the left field line. He hit it down the right field line for a triple. Pulled the ball.
Okay. This is Logan Miller taking over on the mound. Now, Logan wasn't in the batting order. He's been playing left field in the flex position all game. So we're going to shift the outfielders again. Sager goes to center, and I believe they'll probably just push Sterner over to left now. Either that or Sterner will go back to right and Mifflin into left. But But the situation isn't a whole lot nicer. If you look at it for Spring Grove, you got first and second with 1 out. Hits most likely another run, and now you're 5 down.
Moore so far 0 for 4, but that's been thrown out the window so far in this inning.
Yep. Ball up high. And you feel bad for for the young man Sager. I mean, I thought he threw a couple really, really solid innings, but it just, kind of the cart fell off, and they just timed him perfectly. It wasn't, nice breaking ball for a strike. I don't know there was anything he did wrong. I just think Donegal timed him.
They caught up to him
hard.
Yeah, they had clutch hitting when they needed it. That wasn't necessarily a bad job on the mound. He wasn't walking people left and right or anything like that. Sometimes they just hit the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he did have those couple of walks, but the runs came in on solid hits.
Oh yeah, those weren't cheapies by any stretch of the imagination.
There's a hard smash just foul down the left field line. The way they've been hitting this inning, I think everybody probably assumed, there's a double down the line again.
You could have maybe called that game over had he hit that.
And these are guys now that they came up in the 7th inning, and they're probably thinking, "Wow, I got another chance in this game."
Taking advantage of it.
Just a floating breaking ball called strike 3 on the inside part of the plate.
Moore didn't agree with that. In fact, that he was
didn't.
he's looking down at Chris Miller to get his instructions for the next pitch, and he got rung up.
Somebody probably saying you should have just let that one hit you. It wouldn't have hurt.
Absolutely.
Just took a ton off that pitch. Brings up Dale Hauser now with 2 outs and runners on first and second.
Hauser's 1 for 2, but he's walked twice and has an infield hit.
And you want to get Hauser. You don't want to face Kalenda again, who's had quite a night.
And Kalenda started this inning, I believe, right?
Yeah, with an out, and then Hess hit that 1-out triple.
So they've nearly batted around in the top of the 8th. 9-5 is the score. Needed extra innings, and Donegal's taking advantage of it.
And that one bounces in front of the plate. Hoyles knocks it down, but it gets away, and runners move up. Now you got 2 in scoring position. And Kalenda now has a chance to absolutely put the nail in it. Or Hauser, rather. I said Kalenda. 47-27. I have my 7s confused. It's been a long day.
It has been, but it's been a fun day.
Yes. And then foul that pitch back to the screen. Yeah, it's funny because it's hard to believe. We've had microphones in our hands for 5.5 hours pretty much. We did have the break in between games.
Little one, but we've just been basically talking for about 5 hours, and I feel like this is a conversation we'd probably be having if we were just watching this game in general.
Most likely, yeah. Fouled off again. They're hanging tough. The plate approach in this 8th inning,
Just
it's
going
really
to say
hard
that
to find
the epitome of just grittiness at the plate,
Yes.
staying alive, living to fight another pitch, and then finding the one you like and driving it. That's exactly what Hess did whenever he stroked that triple earlier in the inning. Just staying alive, picking your pitch. Eventually you'll get one you like.
And Myers did the same too. And there's a line drive up the middle.
There it
That's
is.
going to fall. 2 more runs are going to score, though they've got to play it. Nope, no play at the plate. Donegal has blown this one wide open with 6 runs in the 8th inning. The Indians now lead 11-5, and another great piece of hitting. What an at-bat.
Like I said before, he did it. Staying alive, fouling pitches off, getting a piece of it, making sure that you live to fight another pitch, and eventually you're going to find one you like because the pitcher is going to just try to start pressing. He gets one you like, you drive it to center field. What do you know? 2 more runs. Donegal with a stranglehold on this game now in the top of the 8th.
And let's not overlook the base running of running behind the play, advancing on throws.
Exactly.
They've done a good job at that almost all night. And Hauser now is at second with a chance for another run. Floater for a called strike on the inside the plate.
They've more than doubled their score just in this inning.
Yes. And we're starting to see some people walk up the steps as
Some of these Spring Grove faithful
Yeah.
decided to call it a night.
Yeah, it is a school night, too.
It is a school night.
There's a grounder to third, play made, scooped up, throws. Nice pick there at first base by Piety. Ends the inning, but what an inning for the Donegal Indians.
6 runs in the top of the 8th. They're feeling it. Spring Grove is going to have to put something really special together here to extend this one.
About 11 runs on 14 hits. You can't, assuming they hold on and win this championship, you cannot say they did not earn it.
Every plate appearance in that inning, just tough, gritty, and smart. Smart hitting, starting with the freshman, Kyle Hess with a triple
Yeah.
to right field.
You know what? That young man is going to have trouble falling asleep tonight.
Yeah, school night or not, that dude's staying up for a while.
And he's a freshman, so he still has classes. It's not like he's
Oh, yeah.
practicing for baccalaureate.
This isn't senior week where you're just kind of hanging it up. A lot of energy on the field right now for Donegal. You can just sense it. That being said, don't, as Chris Miller has been yelling to his players,
right.
stay within yourself.
Right.
Focus on getting the outs.
And let's face it, it's been a crazy day. I mean, in many ways. So,
If you're Donegal, you don't overextend yourself. You're not trying to do anything crazy. Let the play come to you, and you get the outs, and you end this ball game.
Yep, and Anthony Piety starts in the strike on him.
Yeah, and if you're Ethan Hess on the mound, you're throwing strikes.
Yep, let him hit it. Let him hit it. No free passes. And there's a base hit to right field. So here come the Rockets. They need a lot, but it's got to start one at a time.
Yeah, you can't get 6 runs back in one swing, so you got to chip away when you can.
Now Anthony Reed is re-entering. He was the starting pitcher. He's going to re-enter to bat here in this situation. Spring Grove can do, Jones, hope to string some hits.
You can't go into it thinking we can get this all back in one at bat. You have got to go into it saying this is going to be a marathon if we're going to get back into it.
Now I'm surprised Chris Miller isn't just saying, hey, you know what, if he wants to steal second, let him have it. Play off the base.
Don't give any holes on the right side of the infield.
Yeah.
Honestly, at that point, that run means nothing.
Hess threw over, and I think Miller's probably doesn't matter.
Don't commit any errors that you don't need to commit.
And now 2 balls to Reed. Looks like we have a pinch hitter on deck.
Called strike.
And ball down low. It's 3-1, and that is Josh Bellamy. It's come out on deck for the Rockets, junior outfielder. A big kid. Ball 4.
If you're
And are we surprised, though?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
if you're Donegal, you're thinking, man, we got to. This is like, and I understand you have a 6-run cushion at this point. That is just the last thing you want to do.
Hess is signaling to the dugout. Now I don't know if if he's tired out or what. That if he wants to go over defense, but I don't know that there's any defense. Just get outs.
No, there shouldn't be any kind of schematics here. There shouldn't be any kind of.
I almost think he's feeling something here.
I don't know if he felt something weird in his arm that he had to call out to the dugout to talk, or he just needed a rest.
Yeah, although, I mean, if it was a potential injury, Miller probably would have checked the home plate umpire first to get a free visit here. And Spring Grove announcing the pitch hitter. What a position to come in and pinch hit, though.
Yeah, really. Hey, kid, we're down in the bottom of the 8th. We got 2 guys on no outs. Go make something happen.
Yeah.
But it's also that scenario that you dream about when you're a little kid that you have a ball and a bat in the backyard, and you're like, bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, bases loaded. I'm wondering what that visit was about, since Hess is staying in the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, he called it, though. I mean, Hess called it.
Yeah, Hess initiated the visit, and you just see catcher Cameron Nye tell everyone to calm down.
There's a strike.
Maybe it was just a matter if he needed a couple minutes just to rest.
Yeah. So here comes Bellamy. Interesting situation here. There's ball down low. Of course, after Kyle Hess gets a triple, who knows what a pinch hitter might do. I mean, this. And ball. Didn't miss either of those pitches by much.
No, Hess is keeping everything low, which is a smart thing to do in this situation, but you definitely don't want to lose the pinch hitter here to a walk. And he's got 3 straight balls that are low.
And you know what I think you're taking here?
Oh, absolutely, all the way, red light. And you see activity in the Donegal bullpen again.
They're sprinting down there. Ooh, he was cutting, and he was cutting hard. And it was a strike, though.
Yeah,
he did not chase a bad pitch.
You can't blame him for. You can't accuse him of being tentative up there. He wanted to hit that one. You could tell.
And he's called out on strikes. Belt high curveball.
Some argument there from Spring Grove's side, and I can see maybe where they're coming from.
Right. There's lots of argument from the Spring Grove fans.
I'm sure they felt it was probably about high and outside a little bit. But if you're gonna call it within the strike zone of the letters and the outside, maybe it was close enough that you could understand it.
And Baker lines a foul ball down the left field line. Situation is this: we got runners on first and second with 1 out, but Donegal has a 6-run lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, and it just so odd to hear that kind of a margin in an extra inning.
Yeah, that's a championship inning right there by the Donegal Indians.
Yep, absolutely. And strike over the plate, and it's now 0-2 to Baker. Strike 3 called on the outside part of the plate.
Got it. That was a nice pitch.
That was a beautiful pitch.
Knees.
Listen, ball or strike, whatever, that's just a perfect pitch in an 0-2 situation. And now you got Caleb Ruth coming up.
Here's your potential. Here's your championship at bat here. If you're Donegal on the defensive side.
Strike. Boy, he threw how many balls in a row? and has just come back. And, if you remember, he did that earlier. He
he
fell
battled
behind
back,
3-0 and battled back on the strikeout. So I don't know if that was that Ruth he did that to, I think, last at bat.
Ruth hasn't struck out yet today.
Okay,
but
then wasn't – okay. There's ball low. So we're 1-1 count, 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th, District 3 Class A AAA title game. And now they're down to the final strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
bottom of the 8th. This is for the District 3 Class AAA
Donegal
Championship.
fans on their feet. Ball low.
What a way to win a championship game if this does
Yeah.
hold. Meeting your opponent blow for blow, going into extra innings, and then just ending it in dominating fashion. And everyone thought they had it.
Everybody look at the dancing.
And now they're still in
Oh,
third.
yeah. You know what? Why not? That's good base running.
Yeah, that's smart. Everyone was,
Everybody
everybody was running to the
dancing,
dugout
nobody
and
near,
dancing, excited.
I do think that pitch was low.
Yeah, I agree.
But I understand why they did it, because they're excited.
Well,
you think that's it.
Nye was selling it. He
Yeah.
believed it caught the
yeah.
outside corner.
Now the home plate umpire has no friends.
Yeah.
So, full count pitch. Oh, and he hit him. I don't know if that hit Ruth in the hands. I think it might have hit the barrel of his bat.
Yeah, that did.
hit the
That
handle.
hit his bat.
Yep.
Something came up and flicked his helmet back a little bit. I don't know if when it hit the bat came back and hit him. But apparently it hit the bat before it hit anything else.
So we got a full count, 2 outs. Runner will be going from first. And a line drive speared at second base by Ryan Myers. How appropriate. And the Donegal Indians are celebrating their second District 3 Class AAA title of the day.
Unbelievable performance by the Indians in the top of the 8th. Not even to mention the great ball game where they had to come back, meet Spring Grove, blow for blow in every inning to tie the game, take the lead, lose the lead, tie the game back up. And then in the top of the 8th, they rattle off 6 runs, which all started with a triple from their number 9 hitter, who is a freshman who struck out twice so far in the day. Comes back with some of the most clutch hitting you could imagine. And now Donegal Baseball is your District 3 Class AAA champions, along with their softball team that claimed the District 3 championship earlier today. Not a bad day to be a Donegal Indian.
No, and I'm imagining it's going to be, excuse me, a lot of horns honking when over that Susquehanna River Bridge tonight.
Marietta's they're going up and they're partying the night. What a great day out there. What a great day for the Lancaster Lebanon League.
Yeah.
For Hempfield winning.
Yes. Yep.
Donegal winning in softball. Donegal winning in baseball. Lancaster County has been well represented today in the district finals.
And, I'm sorry, Donegal administrators, but there might be some kids late for school tomorrow.
And they might be not as well rested as you would hope they would be. But you can't. They're not going to remember in 20 years from now what they learned on that Friday afternoon, but they are going to remember that they won the District 3 championship this day in dramatic fashion, in extra innings, and then just slamming the door with a championship effort, scoring 6 runs in the top of the 8th.
But the quality of at-bats, there's just so many good things about that inning.
And that's the thing, Steve. It's not like they went up there first pitch and just smoked the ball. They had to earn every at-bat. They had to earn every hit, fouling off pitches, making sure they didn't swing at the balls, fouling off, and then finally, when they found the pitch that they liked, they drove it. And that's the hardest part. When you finally find one that you like, you have to convert on it. And they did that in just stunning fashion in the top of the 8th, and they were able to score 6 runs to come out with an 11-5 championship decision over Spring Grove.
Well, and let's remember, I mean, Sager was absolutely lights out since he entered this ball game.
Absolutely, and Spring Grove, you gotta tip your hat to them for battling back, because everything that I just said about Donegal, sans the final inning in the 8th, they did too. They fell behind. They battled back. They took the lead, lost the lead, battled back. They did everything they could. There's not much you can do about that in the top of the 8th when Donegal rattles off those 6 runs.
No errors. There was no errors in the inning. Couple walks, but no errors. Clean hits, hard hits. I mean, that's just one of those.
That was
hey,
just
you tip your hat and say,
solid baseball. Solid
they won
baseball
the
all
game.
around by both teams. Donegal, in the end, deserved to win that game because the clutch performance that they were able to come through in the top of the 8th. You can't ask for a better championship game. If you're Donegal, you're going to have a hard time sleeping tonight after something like that.
No question about it. And once again, congratulations to both teams, but especially the Donegal Indians, your District 3 Class AAA baseball champions. Both teams move on to the state tournament. And, John, any closing thoughts?
This has been a fantastic day of baseball here in York, with Hempfield pulling out the Quad A championship.
In a great game.
In a great game in its own right. Donegal pulling out a District 3 championship in the AAA bracket. And then the fact that the softball team for Donegal that won gold earlier today made the trek out here to support their team, and you're not going to see a happier group of people than the people wearing green right now.
A whole lot of green over there. And, John, it was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it greatly.
Great day of baseball. Had a lot of fun with you, Steve.
All right, buddy. Listen, we're going to sign off now, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it. We'd like to do this again sometime, so let us know if you did. You've been listening to us on GameTimePA.com. Signing off.